All right, here we go. Let's get these numbers up. Let's have nice discussions. Come on, guys. Give it up for the show. This is the only show on TikTok, I think, that is one, religiously Jewish, and two, welcomes people to talk about Judaism and challenge it. Okay. Hello, I hit the gym beforehand. All right. Me too. Let's go. It's Thursday night. This is Friday night in Israel. This is when everyone's out. At least if you're in Jerusalem, you're out in Ben Yehuda, Mike's place, or some bar acting up. Okay. Boy, this light is too bright. Okay. Do I believe in Hashgacha Pratis? Yeah, I guess. That's divine intervention. Why not? That's a topic. Same topic every night so far lately. I got to come up with a new title. Something that will kind of piss people off a little bit more. Get them angry enough to hop in here and, in an unknown manner, become attracted to Judaism. All right, guys. Like the show. Follow this guy. Like the show and follow. Like the show and follow. We could start off with questions until we get some takers. You'd be surprised. There aren't that many people on TikTok that have 1,000 followers that haven't got their account canceled. So we are limited. What's coming up? Shavuot's coming up. Yeah. That's it. I'm going to try to make it Israel this year. If you guys want to hang out during Sukkot, I'll be most likely, Bizarat Hashem, I'll be in Yerushalayim for Sukkot. Like last year, interviewing Arabs and asking them, hey, have you ever considered becoming Jewish? It's a thing. It's a thing. I remember I interviewed this Muslim guy in the old city, in the Arab, it was really the Christian quarter. And he's like, haram. And I told him, I get it. Look, I get that converting to Judaism is haram, but do you know that you could become Jewish? And I think he said he did. Would you visit the old temple site? I have. Yeah. Jews typically go early in the morning. That's when they're allowed to go. Some Jews say you can't go. Who's the one who said you could? I think it was the Ravid. The Ravid said you could. The Rambam said, I think the Rambam also says you could. He says that the place lost its kedusha after the Churban. Question: What do you read? The Bible or the Torah? Well, the Torah is part of the Bible, but the Bible is not technically the Torah. So both, but the Jewish one. Hopefully this fan next to me is not making too much noise. Yeah, so Torah. Okay, what's this? German flag? I don't know what that red... Is that the German flag? Fine. Guys, keep the questions coming. Ask a rabbi, Thursday night. That's how we do it. And yeah, and consider becoming Jewish. It might be for you. It might not be for you, but just know it's possible. Okay, the Torah is only the 5 books. Yeah, colloquially, the Torah is really only the commandments within the Torah. So what about the prophets or prophecies? This may come as a shock, but the books of the prophets are not books of prophecy. The books of the prophets are to give you a detailed account of the life and times of those prophets. They were never meant to be used as some sort of almanac of things to come. Never. I know this is how people use them nowadays. Incorrectly. Don't forget, the rabbis put these books together, i.e. the judges. Why would, it's not like it's Torah that came from God. So this is a big difference between an authentic Jewish way of looking at Tanakh or the prophets and how Christians do it. Let's see, Jew horns. Yeah, no, I got none of those. Are non-Jews allowed to read the Talmud? I mean, what's a statement? Goya Sectora Chayav Misa. But that's for Jews to believe, not for Gentiles. Yeah, no, a Gentile could study the Talmud if he wants. So, do you believe real Jews are black race of people? Not specifically. You could be black and be Jewish, but are the Jews specifically only black? No, they are not. Okay, no, your eyes will explode. I don't know what that means. Guys, keep the interesting statements coming. The sillier the statements, the more views we get. Okay, someone says they're black and they're Jewish. Okay, congratulations. Do you believe the Messiah will come when everyone or most Jews are doing Torah? I don't know. Do most Jews believe that? Yes. That's what most Jews believe. What's the deal with the Khazarian conspiracy? Any I guess, truth to that? Yeah, no, there's truth to it. There's the Khazaria was a kingdom that converted to Judaism, at least for sure the monarchy did. Are the Ashkenazi Jews direct descendants of the Khazarians? Not necessarily. I'm pretty sure some are. What's the big deal? They converted. All right, guys. Keep it coming. Let's keep the comments civil. Although crazy people are welcomed, right? There's no way to vet crazy people on TikTok. Jesus is real. I've seen him, someone says. Okay. If that makes you a better person, go for it. Yeah. I don't know if revelation from that perspective changes anything. It's like you saw Jesus and what? So do you believe when you die, you go to heaven? Or does Jesus is bringing New Jerusalem back? I don't believe in Jesus. Did Jeremiah, through God, tell the Israelites to ask for forgiveness or Israel will be destroyed? I don't know what that... I mean, yeah, Jeremiah was sent to Israel when they were in Babylon. What should my response be when someone takes the Talmud out of context? Well, the only portions of the Talmud that we should be defending are the legal ones. The ones that have to do with how you keep either Torah law or rabbinic Judaism, not statements like random statements that we call midrash, like a legend and agadas. There's some stupid statements in the Talmud. There's some beautiful statements. DNA shows Ashkenazim are from what? From the Levant. Okay, partially, I'm sure. Partially. Hey, I'm really sorry for all the pain your people and culture have been through. You don't have to be sorry for the Jewish people. The Jewish people suffer, at least according to the Torah, because of what they've done wrong. So, God's doing it. Are you a traditional Jew, Messianic Jew, progressive Jew, or a non-believing Jew? I'm an Orthodox Jew. A non-Messianic Orthodox Jew. Every religion can have a cult leader, all right? Next. Guys, keep it coming. Like the show, follow the hosts. And if you guys have any challenges, hop on board. Come on, we're letting everyone in right now. I am Jewish by birth, but Christian by choice. God bless you, bro. Okay. I don't, Jewish by birth. Doesn't really mean anything from a Torah perspective. So people claiming to be, Jewish just because they happen to be Israeli and they don't believe in God, according to Judaism, they may be liable for the punishments of the court if they break laws in Israel, but that doesn't mean that they are Jewish, like i.e. special to God or in some covenant with God. Okay, first guest of the night. I don't think I've ever spoken. Welcome, Kyle.
Hi, Rabbi. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I've just been wanting to talk to some rabbis on live recently. I've been joining a bunch, and none have really let me up till now. So,
what's your background?
I'm Persian Jewish, born and raised in LA.
Wow.
I went to yeshiva for a year in Beit Shemesh in Israel. Went off the derech a little bit.
What's that place in LA? Nessa.
Yeah, Nessa. That's where I was bar mitzvah.
That's where the money is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you like a Mashani?
No, just Tehrani Persian.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome. So, what yeshiva? Beit Shemesh Ritz.
I went to Ashrenu. It was an Ashkenazi.
Well, Ritz is also Ashkenazi, but it's like YU in Israel. Yeah, I was in Aish.
Oh, you were in Aish? I'm going to Aish this summer.
Oh, awesome.
For a 10-day trip.
Awesome. Yeah, I was in Har Sameach also, and I lived in Israel for 5 years, and can't stand Israelis, so I left.
I love that.
Most people can't say it, but I don't give a crap.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
they're loud.
yeah, they're difficult. So what's up?
I just wanted to know if you knew anything about mysticism or Kabbalah and Judaism or
I'm
anything
not a
about
fan
that.
of it. I'm not a fan of it. I'm more of a rationalist. I'm like big on the Rambam. So I mean, I know enough about it not to teach it and not to endorse it. So people who are big on the Rambam don't believe that the Rashbi, that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wrote the Zohar,
Yeah.
and we don't do all these Kabbalistic holidays like Lag BaOmer, and like we don't do a Shalom Zachor, we don't do a what's that called, Upshirim, and all these weird practices. Just because all these things don't appear by Chazal, they don't appear in the Talmud, they don't appear in the Rambam, they don't. I mean, this is post like the 13th century. So, I mean, you could study it if you want, but we shouldn't really be like poskening halacha from the Zohar, from like the Arizal, which is what most Jews do nowadays. When they go to like the Kivrei Sadiqim, like when they go pray in graves and stuff like that, that's actually against halacha. But I mean, try telling that to Jews. So I'm not a fan of Kabbalah.
What kind of Jew are you?
I'm an Orthodox Jew. I'm modern Orthodox.
Modern. Where are you? You're based out in U.S. right now?
Oh, South Florida. I'm in
South
Hollywood,
Florida.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm trying to go out there.
This is where it's at. I mean, everyone from LA is probably going to end up coming here. You're not going to go to Chicago. It's too cold there. In New York, forget about it. All right. I mean, South Florida, everyone's moving down here.
Yeah, it's the best place. I'm there almost every month. It's
Yeah.
beautiful there.
All right. So you know what's up. This is,
I'm trying to move there though.
Yeah. Well, according to Andrew Tate, it's like Dubai with more violence.
Yeah. It's literally what it is.
So what do you do for a living?
I do marketing. That's like my main thing. I dropped out of school and went into that. More into like NFT and crypto.
Okay. All right. Finance. Oh, somewhat. Oh, it's cool. I'm actually an IT guy.
Oh, that's
And,
amazing. What kind of IT?
I started off as a programmer, but I'm a network admin now for like a few companies. So everything, virtualization like VMware and anything with servers, and that's where the money is.
Yeah, no, that's the best money.
Yeah, well, because you can outsource it, and you can outsource everything but networking. So
I'm gonna definitely message you then one day if I need your work.
let's do it. This is Jewish networking. That's what we do. Like we play Jewish geography, and then you mention people here, people there. Trust me, like we know people in common. That's what's up.
Another thing I just wanted to say, I mean, I see a lot of other faiths in here also. Do you know any, like, what is the topic of today?
It's up on top. I do something that most Jews don't do, and that's I encourage people to consider becoming Jewish. Now, it's not against halakha, it's just not something that we've done for a very, very long time. So I consider myself an outlier in this. I mean, this is what I did in Israel for Jews. I mean, I was a Makarov in Hebrew University for many years. I worked for someone named Jeff Seidel and whatever. I put like birthright kids in yeshiva and stuff like that. So in Israel, every time we'd have an event in Hebrew University, like we'd actually get more non-Jews than Jews. There's a lot of like overseas students in Tel Aviv U and Ben Gurion. So then, I mean, I had this crazy idea. I'm like, why don't we just encourage them to be from? Right. So then I went and I got a heter for this. Like I heard that like the Rosh Hashiva of the Derech program, or Sameach, his name was Rav Moshe Lazarus, like believed in the same idea, So I got a piece of paper, not that I needed it. I mean, I know it's not against halakha to do it, but he says, fine, you can encourage non-Jews to become Jewish as long as you focus on Jews first. Whatever. So for the last, 15 years, I've been encouraging Gentiles, not that they have to become Jewish, right? I mean, every Gentile by definition is a ben or bat Noach, right? I mean, as long as they keep the Sheva Mitzvot B'nai Noach, that's the bare minimum, all right? But if someone is serious about God, they should consider becoming Jewish, and if they're sincere, we should welcome them.
I always tell I have a lot of Muslim friends, Christian friends, and they're all non-religious or not too deep in their faith, and I always try to explain to them like what Judaism is, and like if their background is Islam, I tell them like even in the Quran it mentions Israel, all the prophets were Jewish, and same with Christianity, Jesus was Jewish, and they don't say that the Torah is false. Like the Torah is the true book of God, and nobody denies that.
Well, Muslims believe that we corrupted the Torah. Right? I mean, this is why they're big on the notion that
I know.
You
But
know,
their points are always they don't make sense because their book was written like based off of ours. So if ours was mistaken, then theirs is wrong too.
yeah, yeah, but they fix all the errors in the Hadith. So I mean, I wish we had an auto-correcting religion too. Just like, okay, it doesn't make sense now. Like, just wait 200 years more till someone writes a commentary that we elevate to like some divine level. Anyways, I encourage all Muslims to become Jewish. That's it. You know,
I love that. I love that. But isn't so whenever I learned about this and tried teaching people about it, I've been told that you won't have a Jewish neshama until around the third generation. For Egyptians, it's about the seventh generation. Some you can't even become Jewish, your soul. There's some nations that are banned, but we don't know who.
so the
They
halacha
are.
is regarding because we saw this with Ruth. Like, if you're from Moab, Ammon, some Egyptians, it says that for so many generations they won't be allowed into the congregation of Israel. So how the Rambam, and it appears by Rashi like this also, that this means that they're allowed to marry in. Well, first of all, they teach the prohibition is only for men, because like we know that Ruth like married Boaz, like in Megillus Ruth.
Yeah.
So it didn't apply to women. So the rabbis teach that this applies only to marrying born Jews, that they're allowed to marry mamzerim, slaves, right, and other converts for those 3 generations or so, and then they can marry into the Jewish people. But it doesn't apply nowadays, because Chazal also say that after Sanherib, like the king of Assyria displaced all the nations of the world, no one nowadays could claim to be Amalek, Moab, Edom. I mean, we do it all the time. We call people
Yeah.
Amalek and stuff like that. We shouldn't do that because no one could really trace their lineage according to how halakha functions to any of the biblical tribes. So although that is the Torah understanding that they have to wait, it doesn't apply nowadays according to Chazal.
I mean, can't I trace I'm a Cohen, so I can trace myself back to Aaron.
It's different for Jews, obviously, because the Jews weren't, the only Jews that were displaced by the kingdom of Assyria were the northern tribes. This is why they're called the 10 lost tribes, because they got lost, right? But what Yehuda, stayed in place.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, more converts, you'd have more kosher food, you'd have more women to date, right? I mean, especially,
Yeah,
you're
that's
married?
true. No, I'm 21, so
But that's kind
trying
of
to.
late in the frum world. I mean, you should have 3 kids already.
I know. I mean, all my yeshiva friends, like I'm going to 2 weddings this summer, but for me, it's around. I come from more of a non-religious family and like religious kind of community,
Right.
but we get married around like 28 here, 27.
Okay, whatever. You make her sign a prenup and just get married religiously.
Exactly. No, I know. I'm trying to become more religious. I mean, when yeshiva, I didn't really take it serious. I went during COVID just to get away from LA, and
Yeah, Beis Shemesh is not like a party town. That's kind of be like the most boring place to be in yeshiva in.
it was. But we'd go to Jerusalem every week, so it was good.
But you're like in RBS,
What?
like in Ramat Beit Shemesh, or just regular Beit Shemesh?
No, regular Beis Shemesh. Regular Beis
Nothing
Shemesh.
going on there.
Yeah, nothing. It's a little village.
It's that uh oh, I'm thinking of Modine also. It's dead. It's dead. And also
Yeah,
the buses to Yerushalayim, where you're talking about like an hour. It's nothing going on there. I
yeah,
was in the Old City, and that's what's up. I mean, Old City is like
yeah.
the
You said
heart.
you went to Aish, right? A lot of my
Yeah,
friends
H.
went there. So it's
Yeah, H is
a great
across the
school.
street. Yeah, awesome. I mean, they have the best food. They have the best food. And I mean, if you're in Jerusalem, there's things you could do. At least for Shabbos, you could go to all like the big tishes, like in Meir Sharim and Geula, like the Satmar Tish and the Torah Kartashul and all that stuff. And it's wild, but in Beit Shemesh, it's just families. All you do is eat with families.
I know, I know. No,
Bowl.
we would go to Jerusalem. We'd go to like the streets filled with all the
Oh,
ch-
Ben
the ch-
Yehuda.
the Chassids, and there would be like parties every day.
Oh, yeah, what's that? Kikar Shabbos. There's this place where they burn all the trash cans every time you
Yeah,
arrive.
yeah.
I mean, it's not just black folks that burn down their own neighborhood. I mean, Hasidim do it also. It's true. I mean, when they start writing, they start just lighting stuff on fire, and there's trash all over the freaking place because they say that they don't have trash pickups like in Meir Sharim and Geula, like in front of Jerusalem. So it's like the trash just piles up. But when they get pissed off, they start lighting trash cans on fire. And I mean, in their own neighborhood, right? I mean, if people
Yeah.
go to the Arab neighborhood and do this one too. But I mean, they are Hasidim, so I mean, they're not so bright. Okay, fine.
You're funny.
Yeah, it's true. No, I miss Jerusalem. I'm going back for. I was there for Sukkot last year, and I'm going back for Sukkot this year. I mean, Sukkot is probably the best time to go. You know, because it's easy. I mean, to find a place to sleep, you could sleep in someone's sukkah,
Yeah.
and the whole city shuts down, and it's like parties every week, street block parties, because everybody in Israel goes on, teal, like on traveling, because most people have the whole week of Sukkot off, so it's like party, party, party for 8 days or 7 days, whatever. Yeah, Sukkot, that's what's up.
Oh, I'm probably gonna be there next year around Sukkot, but
All right, so hit me up. We'll go
I
grab-
definitely will. I'm trying to go back to Israel and like kind of take yeshiva more serious. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Well, I mean, come back with a wife. I always tell
Yeah.
people, like, if you're Jewish, and you're looking for like a wife, bring her from Israel. Because if you look here, they're gonna hook you up with some divorcee, or I mean, some girl like Leah, like
Yeah.
with friendly eyes or whatever. I don't know what the Torah says. I mean, to try to depict that she wasn't so, she wasn't Rebecca. But, yeah. I mean, and also, I mean, you're from LA, so everyone's gonna think you're rich and whatever. And then, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you
Just go
don't
as
marry an American girl. Forget
you
that.
want a visa? Come on,
Oh,
they
right.
love
Be
it.
careful for those, because there's a lot of those too.
Yeah.
Those are girls meet in Tel Aviv. Yeah. No, I mean,
No,
like
I know.
a
I bet a
frum
few
girl
girls.
who doesn't know anything but how to, make kugel and please her husband. You know,
That's the dream.
that's what's up. All right, bro. Hey, thanks for stopping by.
I have one question. I mean, I'll leave after this, but
Yeah.
I mean, just what would you say to somebody that proves to them Judaism's better, it's the truth, and it's the way to go and live your life? What would you
Well,
tell somebody?
I mean, it's better than what? So then, if I'm talking to a Christian or to a Muslim, they would have to acknowledge that all the crap that they talk about Jews, the reason they have to talk so much crap is because they have to solidify their existence, because they came later, and they're an offshoot of Judaism. So they have to in some way diminish what came before. So in terms of reliability, that would make the Torah more reliable, because we're older. I mean, who do we have to flex for? I mean, who do we have to show off for? Right? I mean, they're trying to outdo us, and who are we trying to outdo? Right? We just kept. I mean, God gave us His Torah. What the heck do we do with it? So clearly, Muslims are going to teach that we corrupted the text. So I mean, they have a right to exist religiously in this world, and Christians feel that they're a fulfillment of everything in the Torah. Again, I mean, just so they could carve a little nook for themselves in the religious atmosphere. But it seems that Jews, were just preoccupied with ethics and trying to make the world a better place and trying to do the best they could with the commandments that God gave them, right? We technically had no agenda. Our agenda was to eradicate idolatry, real idolatry, not some Muslim making fun of a Christian just because a Christian may have a different understanding of God being one or two. We were fighting a Moloch. We were fighting people who idolatry back then meant unethical behavior. Idolatry today doesn't mean unethical behavior, okay? If you're a Christian and you're an idolater, or a Muslim, you're an idolater, you could still be a decent person because you've been sensitized by Torah. So from that perspective, we're the ones that we have the uncut product, and these guys are just like whipping it with baby powder and all that crap, and gonna make you sick, right? So it behooves people that at least when they're looking into monotheism, to start off with the parent of Islam and Christianity, and that's Torah. And I almost guarantee that if people start with Torah, they're going to stay with Torah, because the Torah itself says don't add or take away from it. So I believe Islam is good, and I believe Christianity is good. I just believe that Judaism is better. In other words, even the Rambam says that Islam and Christianity help bring this world closer to a monotheistic ideal. All right, but still, I mean, if someone wants a serious relationship with God, they should consider becoming Jewish. Yalla.
I agree. I love that. That was beautiful.
All right.
Do you do debates with people, like with
all the time?
Do you have like people?
Yeah, I mean, go to my
channel.
channel.
Mention tzaddiks of. There's 43 times the people of Israel are mentioned in the Quran. I just wanted to put that out there to everyone listening.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, we're a thing. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to deny. We're like Coca-Cola. We're all over the place. We're all over the
I know,
place.
but their book preaches that we are the chosen people and that we should be, respected, and that there's even a hadith that says Muhammad went to a Jewish temple and he put his hand on the Torah and said, "This is the truth." It like I don't know how they could still deny that Judaism is the truth.
That's it. Peace be upon us. All right, bro. Take it
Thank
easy,
you,
man.
Rabbi.
All right. Have a good Shabbos. Take it easy.
You too. Good shot.
All right. Net Drive. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Good. What's that? A pit bull on your avatar? No. What kind of dog is that?
No, that's a French bulldog.
Oh, French bulldog. My bad. I'm a dog guy, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a Weimaraner and a German short-haired pointer.
Oh, you are a dog person.
Yeah, I like dogs. I have 4 cats also, but I mean, that's my wife's property.
Oh, so you're... All right. That's nice. They get along?
They're in separate rooms. My dogs have a doggy door that go in and out, and the cats just roam wherever they want.
Well,
where's your background from?
Them cats. Well, I'm from Israel. I'm Jewish.
Okay. So where in Israel?
I can agree on some of the things you said. Because I don't think we are better as Jewish. We're not better.
I don't think Jews are better, by the way. I mean, I believe Judaism is better. No, Jews, we're a mixed bag.
What?
I mean, you could be like, I don't know. I mean, you're like Tami Lapid or like Trotsky and not even believe in God, or you could be like Moshe Rabbeinu or Rabbi Yosef and be like a tzaddik. So we're a mixture by definition. Only because you're Jewish.
Oh, well, that's the thing. I think the world actually divides between good and evil. Back in the days, there were some other people that actually believe in the way that Abraham, our ancestor, actually believed in. And back then we didn't have all them. Let's say we have more than 600. Well, actually 613 rules that we should actually. We didn't have them back then. Back in the days when Abraham actually divided the world in those who do believe in the Molech, as you said, and were sacrificing kids, babies, drinking blood, all them satanic things, and the other side. We used to call ourselves Hebrews, not Jews. Jews was a word that we began to use after, if you know Purim, whatever. We went through it.
Mordechai is called Ish Yehudi.
Yeah, exactly. So just since then we have that word Jew. We didn't use that word.
Oh, we don't care about that. I mean, that word is not important, by the way. I mean, if you lived in Russia, I mean, they'd call you a Hebrew. It doesn't matter. Like, what's important is being...
Yeah, exactly. Because they call you as your native, basically your native nature.
Yeah.
You're Hebrew.
This is why I didn't
Ivri in the Hebrew means on the other side. We were on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to cross over. Yeah.
There was one side that was actually worshiping the Baal and the Molech and Satan, whatever. He has a lot of names. And there was the other side, the Hebrew side. And actually, you weren't actually had to be born into that religion. You know, Abraham was sitting there in his tent, asking everybody to join him, to join the other side, the good side.
Yeah. Well,
we didn't call ourselves religion. We were a culture. It was called a culture. Not religion. We didn't have religions ever. Religions were made up.
Okay. In the time of Abraham, like being that he was the only real Hebrew, that's not enough to build a culture. I mean, the culture came after the Torah was given, right? We had a lifestyle.
The Torah was there all the time.
Oh, I don't believe
we have a book that actually nobody is allowed to read. Hanoch. You know about that book?
Enoch?
Yes. Exactly.
I don't believe in that book.
You don't believe in that book?
Well, most Jews don't believe in the book of Enoch, by the way.
They don't let you read it, but actually Enoch was Methuselah's father, basically.
I mean, in Sefer Bereshit it says that, but the book of Enoch was written much, much later. And the only people who really read the book are Christians nowadays.
The book of Bereshit is based on Enoch.
You're saying the book of Enoch came before the book of Genesis?
Yes, exactly, because the book of Bereshit was actually the book that Methuselah gave Noah.
I mean, how do you know this?
But they don't teach you that, because I'm going to tell you one thing that everybody should wake up actually and see that Israel, well, the people that run Israel are not Jews. I can say I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, that
We're
makes
having
sense.
a crisis here. Actually, when people say that Israel is an apartheid, it's an apartheid against their own Jewish people. We are the most suffering people in Israel are the Jews. Everybody gets whatever they want because they're a minority, and the only country that were built up for Jews are actually racist against Jews. So nobody knows the truth because everybody's listening to the
religious
media,
Jews or all
listening to
Jews?
whatever the mainstream is saying. I don't know.
You mean religious
Well,
Jews or all
first of
Jews?
all, Jews should work on their pride. That's the basic thing. And hearing that Judaism is better than other religions, I don't accept that. As a Jew, as an Israeli.
Hold on. Well, you said Jews should
Yeah.
work on their pride, but if you're prideful, wouldn't you believe that your religion's better?
I don't think that our religion is better.
No,
On
I
the
know, but you said
contrary,
that Jews should work on their pride.
Bnei
Isn't
Israel, before they were called Jews, Bnei Israel took upon themselves worshipping and working with blood, because basically they were offering an alternative to the world, to the other side, to those who were working the Moloch and the Satan, whatever. So they gave him an alternative to sacrifice animals instead of people, instead
Yeah,
of
but the Torah
babies.
doesn't say this. I mean, I know you believe this,
They
and the
don't tell
Rambam
you
sort of
that. They
touches this a
won't
little.
tell you that. They won't.
No, I
They
know, but
won't
we're
tell
trying
you
to talk.
the entire truth.
I know, but we need to talk about things that we can verify, right? I mean, I agree with a lot of the stuff you said, right? But there's just some things that are not verifiable, right? It seems that.
Well, I'll give you two facts.
Okay.
Abraham did not eat meat. He did not sacrifice. He did not sacrifice animals.
Yeah, but he
Just
did eat meat. It says that he
one
ate
time
meat.
with Isaac. One time with Isaac. The other time when those three angels came to his tent, that was the only time he didn't eat. He was cutting it for the Lord, for God. As Jews, we should not eat meat. Period.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
after Noah, God said that you're allowed to eat meat, right?
No. Before Noah, people were eating meat and each other. They were eating everything. Whatever they had, whatever they put their eyes on, it was edible.
What?
So
Yeah.
after Noah, actually you couldn't eat meat. Noah was actually it was
Yeah, but it doesn't say that in the
yeah.
Bible. The Bible says that God allowed Noah to eat meat. I mean, it specifically says that.
It
I mean, that's
doesn't
one of the
say
things.
it there. It doesn't say it says it though. Read it. It doesn't say it though.
Are you sure?
But it does say.
I
What
don't
it does
usually
say.
do this,
Listen.
but let's go ahead and double check.
So
Okay,
check
Parshat
it.
Noah.
Check it.
Okay, all right.
All right. Now the other thing is Noah. Of course, he had some supplies on his nice little teva. You know,
Yeah, all
he
right.
didn't cut up animal eating them. We're saving them. How can you say that Noah ate meat after he saved them?
No, I'm telling you what the Torah says. This is what the Torah. I mean, I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm just telling you
The
what the Torah
Torah
says.
doesn't say that. It
Okay,
doesn't say it. It doesn't say that Noah ate meat. What it does say afterwards, when he sent the pigeon, well, you have you have everything already grown up, so there was food. And the other thing he did, he planted grapes for wine. That's it. Doesn't say anything about meat. Anything about the only place that you see sacrifices is the one when Abraham sacrificed that lamb instead of Isaac, and the other time with those three angels, and he did it for them because meat and blood are for gods. basically, not for people.
Okay, all right.
I know it's about like
So
a
this is in
bombshell
Parshat
now.
Noach. Okay, so I mean, it says, "Every moving thing that lives shall be yours to eat, like the green vegetation."
Where does it say that?
I mean, it's in chapter 9, verse 3. Like of
No,
like
Bereshit says to Adam, everything that grows is for you to eat.
Noach.
Noach, well, I'm gonna double check that, but
All right, no problem.
I recall it does not say that.
No problem.
And the only time that even when Jacob met Lavan, I don't know how they pronounce it in English. I'm just,
Yeah,
I never read the Bible.
Yeah.
Even then, when he sacrificed, he didn't eat. Lavan ate, and Jacob didn't eat meat. Never ever. What it does say in the, what? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll double check that one. But in Noach, it does say that God allowed them to eat. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Well, I'm gonna double check that too. First of all, am I following you? Let me follow you, Rabbi Asher.
Thank you very much. Here, what part of Israel are you from?
North Haifa.
Okay. Don't know Haifa well.
Have you ever been in Israel?
I lived in Israel for 5 years. I was in the Shtachim.
As a citizen?
Huh?
As a citizen?
Yeah. I made Aliyah. I was in Ole.
Oh.
But I was in
Why
Yeshiva
made you
for
live?
most of the time.
So you know life here. You know life here.
Who?
You know life in Israel.
Oh yeah, no, I left because I can't stand Israelis. But yeah, but not all. I mean, some Israelis are nice, but most of them are very difficult.
All of them are difficult.
Yeah,
we live a difficult life. That's why I said in the beginning that actually Jews are not really in control here.
Indians actually have to deal with more terrorism than Israelis do, and they're the sweetest people in the world. So, I think Israelis
we think with our hearts,
Yeah.
So it depends what temper you're on.
It's okay. No problem.
Listen, I didn't mean to I don't know, put you in shock with what I said, but
no, as long as I can verify it with halakha or with Torah Shebektav, then I have no problem. It's just when it doesn't align with the Torah, I mean, I give you the benefit of the doubt. But with Noach, for sure, it says that, I mean, God allowed men to eat meat, and even in the Torah afterwards, because it seems that in the beginning of the Torah, you were only allowed to eat the meat that you sacrificed, right? Then later, like Moshe Rabbeinu says that you shall slaughter the meat in the way that I showed you, but for your consumption, because there was Jews who ate meat outside of the Beit HaMikdash, although every korban was eaten too. So, I mean, I don't know how, one could claim that you weren't allowed to eat meat. I don't know. Fine, no problem.
Well, as I recall, it doesn't say that to Noach.
You don't like meat? You don't like shawarma?
Well, I used to eat meat. No? I used to eat, but I don't eat it anymore. I became vegetarian, and it does wonders to the body. To be honest.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't think that people should eat meat.
I love meat.
And yeah, I lived in Philadelphia for 10 years. Never became a citizen, but you know how it is.
In the Talmud it says, "Ein simcha ela basar v'yayin," that you can't have true joy like if you don't drink wine and eat meat. So this is why some people teach that on Shabbat, like mamash, we're supposed to eat at least a little piece of meat. Whatever.
Well, the Rambam says that meat is not good for you, and even if you eat, you should eat like how much is not a pound? A pound, I think, not a pound.
Are you in a kazayat?
No, like 200 grams. It's an ounce.
I don't know. I mean, I have to ask my drug dealer. I'll see. I mean, 200 grams of weed. How much is that? Sounds like a lot.
No, it's like a fifth of a kilo.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, the Rambam says weird things. I mean, like he also says that eating fruit is unhealthy.
Like half a pound. Sorry, half a pound. Yeah,
Yeah.
half a pound.
Yeah. I mean, he says that eating matzah is unhealthy also. I mean, I could have told you that. Yeah.
It's not helping?
Yeah. I mean, he says that eating fruit is also unhealthy, and he says that drinking while you eat is unhealthy. But the Rambam also says that in any generation, you're supposed to listen to the doctors of that generation on what's healthy and what's not, because the Talmud gives terrible advice. On, like, for example, the Talmud says that if you eat fish and dairy, I mean, it calls it a sakana, and also like, if you eat fish and meat, it's also a sakana, like it's dangerous, and everybody knows it's not true. So
right. Who
yes,
the Rambam?
Advice, like from the Talmud, goes in the garbage.
The Rambam doesn't say that you can't eat fish with dairy.
No, I'm saying the Talmud does.
Well, he was Ashkenazi.
Right. Well,
Right.
Sephardim don't eat fish and dairy. I mean, even to today, because
Sephardim, they do.
well, I mean, not
They
religious
do.
ones. I mean, Shulchan Aruch
No,
says
halacha has changed, buddy.
oh,
They're doing whatever they
religious
want.
Jews. Okay,
The religious
Jews believe
Jews,
the halakha
the
doesn't change.
Sephardic religious Jews, they were eating a fish with dairy, no problem.
I mean, even the Ben Ish Chai said it's not allowed. You know, and he's from like 150 years ago. I mean, I eat it because I believe that the Talmud doesn't have the authority to dictate medical, advice. Just
To
because
some
that's
people,
based on
yes. To some people, yeah. They do have like a reaction, bad reaction, yeah, like an allergic reaction. There are
that's
some
anything.
people,
I mean,
but
some
my
people have
people are
allergic
for
reactions to.
from the origin of my people is from back then. Like, well,
Sephardi?
my family history goes like 300,000 years backward. So we don't have a problem eating
Or the dinosaur
fish with
times.
dairy.
No, I'm just telling you what Sephardi Jews eat. I mean, most Israelis aren't religious, but if you ask like a real Sephardi, from Sephardi, he won't touch dairy with fish. All right. I mean, I'm just telling you what they hold by because they stand by Shulchan Aruch. Now, what's your background from?
Well, if we go really backwards from Persia.
Yeah, no, we just had
From Persia, and if you go tribally, my tribe is Benjamin.
All right. No, most people don't know, but you know.
Well, I investigate.
Interesting. I mean, it's either one out of three. It's not. It's either Benjamin, Yehuda, or Levi. So
yeah.
I mean, you're not a Cohen, you're not a Levi. I mean, you might be Yehuda.
No.
All right. Well,
we like to know our roots. That's your real identity, your roots.
Not really. I mean, you could pick what you want to be.
Well, these days, yeah, I see that it goes through legislation too.
Yeah. No, for example, I converted 25 years ago. I mean, I wasn't born Jewish. So
okay.
I tell people that it doesn't matter where your family's from or any of that stuff. You are what you choose to be. Especially, I mean, with Judaism, I mean, it's allowed because many people think you can't convert to Judaism. Many Muslims teach that incorrectly. So, yeah, I mean,
well,
Judaism,
you're right about that, definitely. Everybody chooses to be what he wants to be. On that scale, yeah, definitely. Because again, I go backwards to my grandfather, Abraham, our grandfather. I believe that God created everybody equal because I think that Father loves all of his sons. He doesn't have a favorite son. I can see that because I'm a father. I have 5 kids. I love them all, same level. I don't have a favorite kid.
we all have a favorite. Come on.
No.
All right.
No.
We tell them we don't.
Really?
But all right.
You can't. You
I know
can't
you
love
can't, but
one
you
more
do.
than the other. That's what I think. It's like loving your one of your body parts less.
Uh,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know. My pinky toe doesn't get so much kavod from me. But
Come
anyways,
on, let's go deep into it, Rabbi Asher.
no,
Let's be
this is a
deep
trivial enough.
people, not just surface.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also separate the world between the decent and the indecent. I don't separate it between Jew and Gentile. However, being that we have to share this planet with other people, it benefits me and my kids to have more religious Jews than religious Muslims and religious Christians, and for sure atheists. So from that perspective,
Oh, definitely,
be
definitely,
Jewish.
yeah. As long as if you stick to the origin, the original is the best. The
That's what's up.
prototype, you can call it the original. All the rest are copies.
Oh, so you agree?
Right.
You agree Judaism is better
Yeah,
than
and
it.
that I agree. But the Torah is not just for us. That's what I'm saying. Not just
That's
for
what I
Jews.
mean. This is why I'm
It's
encouraging
right
everyone
there.
to come to the
Everybody can
Torah.
go approach it, read it, and join it.
Right. And that's what I think that we agree.
Of course, we agree.
All right, that's what's up. Yalla
All
moti.
right, my man.
Lecha baita. Yalla
Yeah.
moti lecha baita. All right, anyways, so we have to keep the show going. Thank you for stopping by. Shabbat shalom and stop.
Shabbat shalom, my friend. And I will get back in touch about the Noach part, about the animals. I'm gonna look it up. Really.
Bezrat Hashem. Be well.
All right.
All right, the party continues. The party doesn't stop. The only religion who has sages is Judaism. Ore, I don't know what that means. I'm sure Muslims have sages also. I mean, what is a sage? Technically. Okay, I think most Americans basically work on atheist basis. Anyways, guys, we're getting, I don't know if it was this conversation, but we lost some numbers. So like and follow. Like and follow, and then we'll get more views. Like in particular, right? And you can like more than once. Just like tap on the screen, like pop, 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 pop. Yeah. So Ruben is saying it was the guest. Okay, fine. It was a spicy talk. Oh, what spicy talk? I didn't say anything inappropriate there, Miss Courtney. Yeah. No, I mean whatever. It's an Israeli thing. Israelis come in and think that they have what to say when they don't really have that much to say. Okay, fine. Come on, let's get these numbers up. It's Thursday night. This is the Jewish Friday night. In Israel, in yeshiva, they have this thing called mishmar. And I don't know if they do that in America, right? Because there's nothing to do here. But in Jerusalem, they try to keep the kids inside the yeshiva because they don't want them, getting beat up by the Russians. Because they're the only ones who cause violence in Israel. There's a reason Crack Square is called Crack Square, right? Because that's the Russians. Come like 1 a.m, that when they stumble out of the pubs, they just start beating everybody up and they start cracking heads. I mean, I wasn't born Jewish, so, I hope a Russian will. But yeah, they do for kids in school. Oh, I didn't know they had mishmar for kids in school. Okay, fine. Well, they usually have some sort of meatless cholent and some guy playing the guitar, and I don't know, the Rosh Hashiva will give you a speech just before Shabbos so you don't misrepresent the yeshiva when you're eating in someone else's house. So yeah, consider this mishmar. You guys could be anywhere. Truth be told, it's still early. I guess if you guys wanted to hit the club at 11, you still could. Talmud night is Thursday night. All right, this is everything. This is everything. So where are the haters at? Let's do it. I just ate a spicy soup. I ran 3 miles before that, obviously. Let's see, and it's Moroccan who starts fighting with Russians. Come on, the Moroccans. Moroccans. I mean, they may start yelling. I mean, they're not actual fighters. Okay. A Jewish club. I always wondered why this didn't exist. Like a tavern for religious people, right? I mean, you walk in and there's Ramshal, like the Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach on this wall, Rav Shalom Eliashiv, the Rav Yosef, and you're like, I'll take a gin and tonic. All right, why not? Right? I mean, why can't that exist? Why does being religious by definition means being a dork and being, and having 100 kids? All right, make it fun. Make it. Now, truth be told, in Jerusalem, everybody on Thursday night, like if you go to Mike's place and all the bars, I mean, surrounding Dublin Bar, I don't know about Dublin Bar. I don't know if that place is kosher, but it's full of religious people. So in Israel, people are a little more laid back. I don't think in America, I mean, you're going to find someone in the Jewish community drinking at a bar. But in Jerusalem, it's like hip, you go out for a drink, this and that. Maybe New York is different because there are some restaurants that have a bar in it, like kosher restaurants. But yeah, no, religious people have to be a little more laid back, right? It'll make the religion a lot more attractive. Being a fanatical religious person didn't exist in the Torah. It was part of your culture, right? You buy into this philosophy and yeah, I believe in God. I'm going to keep his law, right? But I have to listen to Jewish music too. Hey, I never agreed to that. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I think Jewish music sucks. Okay, let's see. Come on, guys, like the show. Let's get these numbers up. Let's get the haters in here. Invite everyone you hate or that hates me. This is why we do this. Focus on me. Good morning. All right. So I guess you are. Where's morning time? I'm not in Israel yet. Let's see. Talking about a feisty Russian.
Yeah, I'm coming in to make noise so more people join.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, I once asked the police officer, because Jews aren't violent people, okay? I'm not saying there aren't Jews in jail, but they're typically not in jail for violence.
American Jews, you mean?
Even Israeli Jews, No. But I asked the police officer in Israel, I mean, like, what's the most, like, of the calls you get? And they're like, oh, it's easy. It's Russians, like, beating up their wives. And that's true. I mean, they are the violent, and there's actually, the Jewish mafia is the Russian mafia. Like, most people don't know.
Yeah, that's what, even in Russia.
Yeah. Like, most people
been like this forever.
In Israel, you see it also. I mean, you see them there also with, like, the leather jackets, in the BMW, and waiting for the guy coming out of, like, I don't know, like Mahon Macha.
The organized crime in the Russian Empire back in the days, it was all Jews.
Yeah, most people think that this is like on the level of blood libels. Guys, first we have to tell the truth, then we give our opinion. On this show, like, if you want to make fun of Jewish people, go ahead. I mean, that doesn't speak against Torah. We have we're not a respecter of men here. And of course, we're not talking about religious Jews. There aren't religious Jews in the Russian mafia. But yeah, I mean,
who do you think was like a whole bunch of the gangsters during Prohibition were the Jews who left after the revolution in Russia, moved to America, and they were the gangsters in America, and they were all the gangsters in Russia before they moved to America.
You mean the Russian Revolution, like?
Yeah, I'm talking about, like, the during the Prohibition, right?
I mean, Meyer Lansky was Jewish too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, Odessa in Ukraine. It was like the capital of the Jewish mafia. It's like, famous historical stuff. I mean, they didn't do they weren't like the road gangsters. They were like mafia gangsters,
Yeah.
Because Odessa was the center of commerce, right? All the imported stuff came in through the seaport, so it's a perfect place to run the business.
Yeah. No, the problem is most people don't know many Jews, at least in the West. So they think every time you say Jewish, they think you're talking about a Hasidic Jew, and they think that every Jew is religious, right? But it's not true. I mean, there's what to say with the problems that Jewish people have caused on this planet. But we have to make a distinction between religious Jews and non-religious Jews. And even the religious Jews aren't the sweetest people in the world. But we're not here defending Jews. We're here promoting Torah. So with all the problems we have, it's still better to be Jewish than not. So there you go.
You get access to mafia also. There you go.
Yeah, I guess if you speak Russian. If you speak Russian. I don't think there's a Sephardi mafia. I mean, they wouldn't get along. They'd be arguing too much. Yeah.
They'd be telling everybody what they do.
All right. Speaking on topics they know nothing about.
They like to brag, so they'll be telling everybody everything.
We are a colorful people. Welcome.
So that's the auditorium? Can you hear me at all?
You need to turn off your TV, man.
Yeah, we hear you and everything else.
Hold on, I'll move.
Oh, there, it's good.
Yeah, it's better now.
So continue, Mateo.
Oh, I came up because Courtney said to.
Yeah, because Matt said we're promoting anti-Semitism, so he came up to.
Of course you are. Every night.
You know who's the biggest anti-Semite? God.
Okay, I didn't expect that one.
No, it's true. I mean, this is what the Torah says. I mean, when Jews suffer on a national level, it's because God causes them to suffer.
Yeah, but that's not hate. That's disappointment.
No, it says that God will use the nations of the world to kind of mess the Jews up.
Yeah, but because he's disappointed in us, like a bad father.
Oh, yeah. No, consider this what's like what we call tochacha or musar. Like, we're just saying this so Jews could get their act together. Yeah, no, Jews are typically overly represented amongst communist groups, leftist groups, even the mafia to a certain extent. Not the Italian mafia, but yeah.
Well, the leftist communism is mafia also, so that makes sense.
Yeah. You go after everything. Okay.
It's not that type of show. I mean, with some people,
It's that type of show.
This Israel-Palestine stuff, they're basically arguing for the greatness of being Israeli and Jewish. We don't do that crap here. But we promote Torah, and we acknowledge that we have problems. But with all our problems, it's still better to be Jewish than anything else. So it's very pragmatic.
Yeah, but it sort of errs on the side of too much.
No, come on, bro. It's my style. It's how we do it.
Like, I'll give you some leadership position, sure, but this whole majority of communism and not, nah.
No, it's true. It's actually true.
Not when you're thinking like the rank and file, no. You think Russia's like entirely populated by...
Not rank and file. There weren't Jews in the front line in the vast majority of cases, right? Although all the partisans were mainly Jewish, by the way. In terms of rank and file, they weren't the majority, but in terms of the leadership, they were. This is...
I'd say out of proportion, but I don't know even majority.
Look at Berwine, look at Paul Johnson. all these historians that teach about Jewish history say the same thing. We shouldn't whitewash our history. These aren't religious Jews. What's the difference? Secular Jews nowadays are the biggest proponents of every vile ism out there. The biggest proponents of abortion. Israel has more abortions per capita than the U.S. per capita. There's this organization called Efrat in Israel. You guys can look this up. And I did this research 15 years ago when I was living in Israel. 55,000 abortions a year in Israel. Compare that to America, it's 1.3 million, but per capita, there's actually more in Israel because we have more people, right? We shouldn't promote Jews. We promote Torah, but most Jews don't keep Torah. So, screw them.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to disagree on what exactly evils are. I might be Reuben's friend, but we are very different politically.
Oh, well. I'm to the right of Bush and to the left of God.
Oh, that's a very telling statement. It's so true, though.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to classify myself now.
Yeah, so do you just sit around all day and think of these little things to say?
No, I got that from Michael Savage, by the way.
No, he goes to Stormfront and reads what they're saying.
Michael Savage is Jewish also. His last name is Michael Weiner. But he always used to say it on his show, years ago, to the right of Bush, to the left of God. This is when Bush was president, so. Anyways.
Bush was more Democrat than Republican anyway.
After the fact, he came out bashing Trump, and he's here laying his head on Michelle Obama's shoulder. I don't know.
He's old school Republican.
I guess I'm talking about from what he did, not from what he claimed to be. But I guess the Overton window moved so much that right now, the things are different than how it was back then. Right? It's the whole spectrum shifted way too much.
Yeah, so far right.
Well, it's I would say that actually most of the people who used to be Democrats are now Republicans just because the Democrats shifted into the communist fringe of the left.
I would say they were Republicans because we went so far right. That's exactly why it's so far right. Everybody went Republican, or everybody went Republican because it went so far right.
So,
I
what
think that's
new
what
idea?
Will come up.
What new idea is being peddled by Republicans that seems far right nowadays?
what is it?
What? No, I'm just saying. I mean, what
No,
is it? I
but
mean,
what?
that Jerusalem should be the capital of the Jewish people.
I don't think
That, I
America
mean,
cares
nothing's really
about that one.
changed.
I think no. What changed was on the Democratic side, trans rights became a huge thing, and that's what I
Wokeism.
think pushed people to the
Yeah,
right.
well, the whole woke thing. You know, that we should hate our country because there's a patriarchy. All these, yeah, as woke as it seems that the
Well,
left was more left. I mean, the right, pretty much stayed the same.
no, it did not.
I mean, can you give me an example? And give me one example.
Waffen, the Proud Boys, that group in Idaho that
Yeah,
was
but give me an
doing the.
example. I mean, like of an actual
Man.
belief, or I mean, how do Republicans believe now that they didn't believe 10 years ago?
Or 20 years ago.
Or
Do
20
they
years
believe
ago?
it now, or are they more racist now, or was that always there?
Well,
Now they.
I mean, they're not racist at all.
Yeah, bro.
Well, hold
Have you
on,
been
Matt.
on any live with the left leaning host?
Matt, do you think that America is more racist now than it was in 2000 or in 1990?
I remember 2001. That I was fairly young, and politics was mainly about war for the most part, and then nukes were a bit, and then the whole race thing has only been popularly political for the last few years, and it's the things people say online are fucking crazy.
And who made it political?
I would say, yeah, we did on the left, but the reaction to it is immense racism.
So that's the whole point. Like the right, the ideology of the right has been the same since it's been
Yes,
in
the ideology of the right has been to ignore racial issues, and now people are not ignoring them, and you're getting mad about it, essentially.
I don't know what example. I mean, you're thinking of. I mean, heck.
BLM?
Yeah, but BLM is a Marxist movement.
BLM is a movement to say, hey, people are getting killed for being black and being harassed for being black. And what has the reaction to that been? You don't think it's been racism?
No, I don't believe that blacks are being harassed and killed just because they happen to be black.
I think
What's your example? George Floyd?
No, I have to go get the FBI statistics that are always quoted.
Yeah, go ahead.
There actually used to be a problem, but the problem was in New York.
Only in New York?
Yeah, they actually had a law.
They said what?
In New York, the police were stopping and frisking black people. That was the law. In New York, in the Democratic state, they had a law that was
not black people.
racist.
It's a law for everybody.
Well, but
you think it was applied to everybody equally? That's the point, though. You keep asking like a particular law that was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this explicitly to black people." But that's not how it works, and you know it.
Hold on. So I believe it was Giuliani who instituted stop and frisk. Now, if the vast majority of people committing the crimes happen to be black, then who do you think? Huh?
Sure.
No, I was helping Matt with the actual example because he had nothing. He was just.
Yeah, but that's not a racist law. I mean, it was because the average. Okay.
That's the point. The law in itself is benign, but then you go to apply it and you see how it's being applied. Where were the police? Where were they stationed? Who were they frisking? That's the point.
But my point is, Matt,
if you don't investigate the crimes in a particular area, it looks like no crime is happening there.
Okay, guys.
The point is, this has been in the 90s. Where is it now?
That we're losing followers now.
Worldwide,
I mean, let's just talk about religion. You know, I mean, I don't want to like.
All right.
Like the show,
Jewish topic.
Like the show, and we'll get more views.
What do you mean? Politics is not a Jewish topic. Politics is.
Well, not for the Goyim. The Goyim was like Talmud and shit.
That's fine, no problem.
The Goyim like what?
Talmud. They want Talmud questions or whatever.
Yes, they want one passage from Talmud all the time. It's always same question about Talmud.
Yeah, where's Jesus?
No, that's a different question. By the way,
Which
there's
one?
3 different Jesuses in the Talmud. I don't know why
I
they
know.
are trying to.
What question are you thinking?
Because there's one, they have a Jesus from like Maccabees time. They have a Jesus that was in Egypt like almost 100 years after.
Right.
And then the third one is also like 100 years before something. So this,
You guys like chopping vegetables or what?
I don't know what Matt is doing there.
That
Like
is so
cook
late.
or something?
Oh, maybe it's Courtney cooking
That
something.
is important.
No, I was tapping. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
Oh,
Here,
for the
Mateo,
tap, I
Mateo.
did what you
Oh, yeah.
asked, and
What's
now
up?
I'm being.
What can you explain in what area you happen to disagree with me on regarding what I teach?
What you teach? I haven't been watching your videos, but I've been meaning to. I mainly have been sitting in your lives and listening to Reuven. I would say I'm probably more inclined to a mystical idea than you are, definitely. And your idea about the validity of Talmud is probably not nearly as strict as I would prefer. But other than that, not much really.
Uh-huh.
I can't say I have a like an encyclopedic knowledge of your position.
He hangs out here every night, so
No,
that
I'm just saying because in other lives, people act like I'm worse than the devil. All right,
Uh,
and but I
yeah,
can
they do.
never get them to answer a question like, "What do you really hate about me?" I mean,
Uh,
I mean, what is it? I mean, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying them,
no,
and
yeah.
they can't articulate it. So I think it's like a domino effect. One person says they don't like me, and they start insulting me, and then
Yeah.
Andrea will hop in with her little monotonous little clang, and then before you know it, everyone is you
That's
know,
probably what did
in
it.
some
You probably
orgy
pissed off
against me.
Andrea and she spread it throughout the entire community on TikTok.
Andrea's not friends with anybody. Everybody hates
No, but she
Andrea.
goes everywhere. Everybody
Oh,
knows
she
about
goes
her.
everywhere. Yeah. But
Yeah,
Andrea actually united Palestinians and Israelis in the joint hate of her.
yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah, no, that hoe's crazy. Anyway,
But yeah, no, I think most people do dislike you based on not actually knowing you and some rumor. But I mean, you can't deny that the whole proselytizing thing is okay. It's not halakha, it's minhag, but still, it's a big thing.
I know, right? Yeah, but they're
Sometimes you gotta
proselytizing
change bad
Israel.
ideas, right? Just because
Yeah,
it's a bad, just because it's tradition, it could be a bad tradition.
Yeah, there's a lot
sure.
of stupid traditions. Like,
Yeah, no, I told someone in the comments, yeah, I did stop being afraid. Like we stopped because the Romans were killing us for it, and like that's not a thing anymore.
yeah, but Jews proselytize Israel, Palestine all day long. This is all they
Yeah,
do. And these guys aren't even religious. It just sounds so stupid. You have an Israeli there without a shirt on, representing the Jewish people, like
you
with the
jealous?
lips. I'm just saying, it's just like they don't know how stupid they look, right? And they're not going to convince anybody.
Right. Yeah,
It's
no.
because it's an idealistic war. It's not one based on reason. I agree with the Israeli arguments, right? But you're dealing with religious, first of all, religious Muslims. You think they're going to take seriously any live that they can hang out there for more than 5 minutes and the Israelis start yelling
Oh yeah.
hysterically. The women start yelling and cursing at anyone who disagrees. It makes
Yeah,
us look horrible.
yeah, you're
The
not the only one that doesn't like Israelis.
Who?
Me.
Oh no, I hate Israelis.
Yeah, no, they're terrible.
Yeah, they're like, and I'm technically an Israeli. I mean, I made Aliyah. I mean, I have to that Ziyut and all that stuff. But I'm an American first and foremost. Yeah, no, Israelis live in a bubble, and they're the most entitled bunch of people I've ever met in my freaking life. Entitled. I mean, they think just because they exist, what they deserve. Bull crap. Now, I think it's stupid for anyone to be proud to be Jewish and not be religious. Okay, be proud of something that you've achieved. Right? I mean, it's as stupid as someone being proud to be white or being proud to be black. We distinguish ourselves by our actions. Oh, I'm proud to be Israeli. Like, what is it? You were born Israeli. I mean,
I
these
know
things
when you
are
talk
the
about a
stupidest
smaller
thing.
group like that, it's a little more valid.
The what?
When you're talking about like a smaller group like that, I think it's a little bit more valid.
A small group?
Like Israelis or Jews.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Truth be told, there aren't too many Jews on TikTok to begin with. I mean, there's probably maybe 5 TikTok lives that are Jewish, and I guess mine is one, and the rest are just Israel Palestine.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Yes,
If you would convert them to Judaism, you would make them supporters of Israel. I mean, how many Muslims have they really converted into agreeing with the existence of the state of Israel? Almost none, because it's not a logical
I've
war.
seen it actually. Like only once or twice, but it's happened. I've seen it.
No, I mean, they probably disengage, but they're not pro-Zionist because they're not going to remain Muslim and become pro-Zionist in their community. It's just not going to happen.
In the community or themselves?
Well,
Think there's some secret Zionists?
They may not hate Israel publicly, assuming they are convinced, but they're not going to speak it out. I mean, they're not going to make a dent. I mean, they're just going to disengage, if anything. But it's idealistic. The chance of it happening is slim.
Sure.
And this is why. I mean, I was pissed off that Andrew Tate converted to Islam. I'm like, man, this guy is going to bring so many more young people to Islam. And
he is. He's terrible, but he is.
Yeah, but then he got arrested for mistreating women and all that stuff. So
that wasn't proven.
It doesn't matter whether it was proven or not. I'm talking about public perception, right? Okay. So him converting to Islam brought a negative public perception to Islam. So he actually did them a disservice. It's good that he didn't come to us.
You think so? No, I mean, I'll still take him.
No, you know what we should do? We should go after Jordan Peterson.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
You can do that alone.
I'll take Andrew Tate with the misogyny and all.
Jordan Peterson, that would be the real win. He's trying to go Catholic. We need to.
He would hate being Jewish. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Dr. Laura.
He's too.
You heard of Dr. Laura?
Dr. Laura?
Yeah, I mean Dr. Laura Schlesinger.
Yeah, she was on the radio back in the 90s, right?
Right, 90s. I mean, I think she's still on Sirius Radio or something. But so her father was Jewish and her mother wasn't, so she converted to Orthodox Judaism. And she says that it was a nightmare because even in the Orthodox world, most Jewish women are extreme feminists, and almost all of her hate mail came from Jewish people.
How can you be a strong Jewish woman and not a feminist? That makes no sense.
Well, how can you be a religious Jewish woman and be a feminist? That makes no sense.
What's the contradiction?
The role of a woman in family life, that's a contradiction. I mean,
Here it comes.
You have to be under your husband?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not me. I mean, this is what the Torah says.
Oh, no, nobody really practices that. You know it.
Matt, are you married?
Almost.
Okay, when you're gonna be married in your house, who's gonna make decisions?
She already does.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. We got the answer to everything.
No, I can see that you don't like Andrew Tate.
No. I have an African woman. It's a different thing. You can't. There's no arguing.
What? Now you gotta slap her in the ass and tell her who's boss. That's
the day I die. That's the day I die.
All right, man. This is why I never did great dating in the Jewish world, and I lived in Israel. And I went on a lot of shidduchs date, like on shidduchim, and it was horrible because Jewish women are very difficult, extremely, extremely difficult. I'm old-fashioned, and I don't take crap from women.
I'm sorry. I can't see the image. I can't see it. The way you talk, the way you are, I imagine the second she says something, you're like, yes, ma'am.
All right, whatever. You could think that. I mean, trust me, I'm a thug. Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I think that Jewish women need to learn how to be women by Christian women.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'll follow
just.
that one.
I'm telling you, or from Muslim women, right?
There
Corny?
you go.
You know, maybe they could.
But,
Going to cover up like left a whore.
What?
Going them to cover up like left a whore.
Oh, right. Well, so Leif Tahor, where they don't wear the burqas. I mean, they wear like the hijab up to here.
Right. No, they
Shemesh is another group. What? They cover their whole face.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a friend who was like that.
Yeah, sorry. I don't understand why you consider, like, Matt, you're laughing about the burqas that Leif Tahor wears, but all the Hasidic who wear the wigs, to me, that's way more ridiculous.
No, I agree with that. The wigs are the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I like the
The
wigs, by
tichels?
the way.
When I was living in Baltimore, all the women wore the scarves, the tichels. They were at
Yeah, the
least some of
scarves are
them.
much nicer. I like the scarves, but those
Yeah, the
wigs, that's
hair
just
over the hair
ridiculous.
makes no sense. Yeah,
It's like you cut off the hair and put the fake hair on top of it. What
I
did
will
you
say
achieve
that
with that?
the buzz cut is kind of hot though.
Are you talking about Satmar? I mean, that's only like Satmar. They shave their heads and they put them
Yeah,
on.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely
Yeah, so
left
I spent
leaning.
some time in Baltimore. I mean, 7 Mile
yeah.
Market, like that area.
Yeah, 7 Mile. I
Yeah,
lived in
Pikesville.
Pikesville
Yeah,
on
I
Forest
lived in
Lane.
Richmond, Virginia for 3 years, and Baltimore was I mean, I guess besides Silver Spring,
Yeah,
Silver Spring was the closest, like Max's Kosher Market and like, was it Shaw?
the upper scale Silver Spring.
But Baltimore is where the Chinese restaurant was. I mean, Rabbi Heinerman. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Golden Bagels. Yeah.
there's, what's that place? Near Yisrael is in Baltimore also.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah, in Michigan, we don't have a lot of choice of kosher foods. There's almost nothing.
No, I moved from Baltimore about like an hour south, and now I have to go into Baltimore for the kosher chicken for Shabbos.
You don't have like at Costco, or I can go to Costco and get Empire.
We have a Costco-like thing called BJ's, and for a time they had them, but they changed producers a little while ago.
Costco by me in Michigan has like a huge selection of Empire products.
You have beef?
Like Empire kosher, so
Yeah,
chickens, whatever.
okay.
But you're
I
religious,
think it
Mateo?
is in more people. Me?
Yeah, like about Shuva, whatever.
Just a little here, a little there. I was
Yeah.
my
So you're dating an
grandparents come
African woman,
from.
you said?
Say again?
You're dating an African woman, you said?
Yeah, yeah. She's Anglican, I guess.
Does she want to convert to Judaism?
I'm trying to convince her. It might happen.
All right, so I mean, come down here and I'll convert it for you.
Florida, yeah. Well, it could happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be free, of course, and I'll marry you for free too. By the way.
No way. I think marriage up here, civil marriage is like $20.
No, civil marriage. Yeah, but if she
Yeah, but you
converts,
need a chuppah.
Yeah,
I'll
I
marry
know.
you
I
religiously.
know. Yeah, in order to do that up here, I'd have to go to some
You
of
need to do it
the
right.
Orthodox guys.
You got to do it right. You need to stomp on the glass. You need your friends to hold the chuppah for you. It's a whole thing,
I
It's
know.
important.
Yeah. Then we had to go do the tradition in Uganda.
Oh, she's really African. Huh? Look at that.
Yeah, no, she's from Uganda. Yeah.
So there's some Jewish
I'm
guys who call
surprised.
themselves African American, but that just means that their parents are from South Africa.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Then I didn't visit, but I found out after I left there's actually a shul. I think it's there's an Orthodox shul right in Kampala, but only one.
I'm surprised with her being African that she's not more traditional.
Well, I mean, like religion is so, but like we have to go back and do the whole traditional wedding, which is like 3 or 4 days. I have to give her mom bride price, so which is going to be a couple of like goats and cows and things,
Yeah.
so things
Makes
like
sense.
that.
All right, so let's we'll let our new guest talk.
Shalom,
Welcome.
Ahmed.
So that's nice.
Welcome.
Hold on a second.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah,
In Hebrew,
thank
that
you.
means that.
I didn't know I was on stage.
Yeah, you're on stage. So in
I don't know.
Hebrew, Allahu Akbar means God is a mouse. In Hebrew, Akbar means
Okay, and that means.
no. I mean, it's just an FYI.
What's your point?
No point.
All right.
I don't believe God is a mouse, by the way.
I don't either.
There we go. We have something in common. The word Akbar means mouse, but like the root of the Akbar word, it does mean great, like spelled differently. Yeah.
Root from, is it like connected to Gibor?
Yeah.
So.
But Allahu Akbar.
No,
Is it pronounced the
Kabir.
same and
I mean, El Kabir.
spelled the same?
That's what I'm curious because I'm wondering if it's goes to the root of Gibor or not. I don't know. I'll have to look.
No, the Shorish is different. I mean,
Is
for
it?
sure. I mean, from Gibor. I mean,
Yeah, Gibor is from Gvura, right?
yeah.
But what is the Hebrew name for great? Like if you would say God is great, how would you say in Hebrew?
I don't know, El Gibor. I mean, it's in the prophets like this.
Yeah, it would be Al Gibor, I think.
I don't know. So
you'd say Yahweh is. Yes, I am.
So you're a
we
Muslim?
don't usually use great. We use other like things with God.
Yeah. No, but we agree.
Right.
God is great.
Yeah.
So, were you born a Muslim or you converted to Islam?
I'm born Muslim.
Uh-huh.
My nation is. I'm from Somalia, so they say it's 99.8 something, 99% Muslim.
Interesting. Have you ever considered becoming Jewish?
No,
Why not?
I haven't thought about it.
No, this is why. This is your opportunity. So what if I told you that if you wanted to be part of Israel, right, you could be. I mean, you could if you wanted to.
But I'm Somali, so I don't know why it would be.
I mean, what is that? I mean, I'm an American, you know, and I'm part of Israel. I'm not talking about the state of Israel. I'm talking about the state of Israel, the people of Israel.
Asher, I just thought about it. In Shmona Esra, we do say Ha'el HaGibor.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's a thing. Yeah. I mean, God is great.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ashtar. Since
Right, so you can
there
be
is-
Jewish. Yeah.
Okay. I think we are missing something here. It is like me telling someone, or someone, say like my neighbor, Ethiopian, for example. Ethiopians we are the neighbors to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And they tell me, do you want to be Ethiopian? I would say, no, I'm Somali by nationality. So I don't understand the question. Why should I be?
So,
Can I be who I?
are Muslims considered a nation?
No.
So what does Ummah mean?
Ummah is nation,
Right?
but not as ethnicity. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
It's not.
That's exactly what I'm
Okay.
saying about Judaism. Being a Jewish person religiously makes you part of a religious nation, not necessarily an ethnicity.
But in
Yeah.
your case,
However-
you give it. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But
Now,
the
you
thing
could be
is,
part of the ethnicity. If you would move to Israel and live and breathe Jewish life, then you'd be ethnically Jewish. But you don't have to be ethnically Jewish to be Jewish or religiously Jewish.
I would disagree. For example, now I live in abroad. Yeah, I have a Swedish passport, but I'm not Swedish. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
You
Yeah,
won't
well,
make me ethnically
We're dealing with
be Swedish.
a religion here, essentially. I'm not talking about
Yeah, I understand.
sin like of
Yeah.
the state of Israel. The vast majority of people who are in the state of Israel are religiously not Jewish. They may have, you know, there's an ethnic component to the Jewish people that doesn't appear in the Bible, by the way. It seems like if you don't believe in God, God doesn't believe in you. But yes, according to Jewish law,
What?
I mean, you can be an irreligious Jew in the sense that you're still liable for the punishments that everyone is if we're living under a monarchy and a court system in Israel, in biblical Israel. So yeah, so I mean, let me phrase it differently. Did you know that you can become as an Israelite as Moses is?
Did you know that you could convert?
No, I mean I said that already.
Yeah, converting. That is
Get it.
yeah. Converting. That is another thing. I understand what you mean when you say convert, but what I didn't understand was, do you want to become Israeli? I
no,
would
forget
say
about
no.
that. I mean, who wants to
I
become
don't.
Israeli?
That part of converting, I understand, and I think I answered it. Thank you for the offer, but no, thank you.
You know, if we go by how the Hasidic go, we could say revert also, because they believe everybody had the soul already, right? You were born with a Jewish soul, and then you just
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it'd
if you
it'd be-
converted, yeah.
yeah, so it'd be reverting, not converting.
Remember, you have to pass the bill to know what's in the bill, according to them.
Yep.
You know, it's like Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, so it is the same as when we say reverting.
Oh, so for some groups, not for everybody. So we have one group that they believe that people who convert, it means they already were born with a Jewish soul, so they just found their way back. Right, but it's not a general
Okay.
belief of all Jews. It's just for one group.
Yeah,
Yeah,
consider
and,
becoming Jewish.
in the and in the Islamic views, God created everyone in a clean slate. That you are born. You are to seek God no matter where you are, who you are. That it is in the human nature,
Sure.
and when you come
Yeah.
back to Islam, you
We
revert.
agree with that.
So it is the same,
Everybody's
similar.
how do you revert, though?
Yeah, no, we
again?
agree with that also. Yeah, no, we just don't believe that the
Yeah.
final truth is Islam.
But how
That's
can you?
why free will is. That's why free will is a fact. You can choose and live by your choices.
Yeah, I've considered
I-
becoming Muslim.
I,
I mean, I appreciate Islam. I like the food,
okay.
and I like the submissive women in Islam.
Oh my God!
The food.
The food
food.
and
Do you think Islam has the only one coherent food? I didn't
Oh
get
no,
that.
okay.
What part
Sorry,
of
I'm
the
sorry, I'm sorry.
what part of the food?
No, okay.
Because we don't have the same.
Yeah,
You know.
no, I'm thinking of Middle Eastern food.
halal shop
Tabbouleh, hummus, and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, yes, Muslims in Indonesia eat something different.
Did you say submissive women?
Oh yeah, that's what's up.
What women do you meet? I don't think you met African women.
Oh, here we go.
What woman do you
I
meet?
don't think you
Dale's
met
also dating an
Somalian
African
women.
girl.
Wait until you see Somali women, man. They kill you in your sleep.
All right, I'll
They're hard.
pass. I'll pass.
She lives in a fantasy world.
I do live in a fantasy world.
Completely.
Yeah.
He wants to teach the women how to act. My God.
The what? What'd you say?
He wants to teach
What?
women how to act. Come on.
We don't sexualize anyone now. Come on, calm down.
Oh, I'm not sexualizing anybody.
I thought someone.
I'm telling you what I appreciate from Islam.
No. I thought someone said some woman has great ass or something.
Oh no.
What?
Did I hear that wrong? No,
Yeah,
sorry. I thought
Courtney
I
probably
heard.
said it.
I did not.
Definitely Courtney.
I thought I heard someone say.
Hey! It's a
XX
religious
woman.
show here. We don't say stuff like that.
It's a family show.
I thought I heard that. I'm sorry, but I thought that's what I heard. So sorry.
All right. I mean, I've never dated a Somali woman, but fine. We'll just assume it. Okay. All right. No, yeah, but I appreciate there's a lot of great things with Islam. I believe Islam is a good religion. I just think Judaism is better. So yeah. I mean, it's not all or nothing, right? Christianity, I believe, is an ethical force for good, and I believe ethical Muslims fall in the same boat.
What's the difference there, though? Christianity and then some ethical Muslims. That was subtle.
You see that? Right,
yeah, that was tricky.
That means
What?
all Christians and only some Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say the other way around. It's some Christians and Muslims.
It's
Stop
interesting.
it,
No, because we're dealing
Ruben.
with ethics. We're not dealing with because you're disagreeing with Christians. It's more theological. I mean, it's not.
Right.
No, my disagreement is with the law. So Courtney falls into the good group because she keeps the law.
Oh yeah, but Christians also keep the law, even though they can't acknowledge it, right? But they still do it.
Yes, they do. Christians keep a large majority of the law. They don't even know that they're doing it.
Not officially.
Like what?
Yeah, it doesn't matter officially.
It does matter because if the majority of Christians I ever talked to, they all say that they follow their heart. And this is literally what it says in the Torah, not to follow your heart, right? So they're going the opposite direction.
Right, I hear you, but they're not they're not over there beating you
What?
up for the land. Like you're
The last
making
1,000 years of European history would say otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think that Muslims are a danger to me also, so I don't know why would that be a comparison.
Wait. You can walk down the street of any Christian country, but you couldn't walk down the street
You
of the
can
vast
now.
majority of
And
Islamic countries.
actually, who was the first person to say that Europe is the most atheistic place in the world? Is that not you?
Me?
Yeah. How
Wait,
Christian do you think
what does
Europe
that have
really
to do
is?
with Christianity, first of all? I mean, I said Christian
Exactly.
countries. You know,
No,
Poland
but they're
is a
not
lot
Christian
more Christian
countries.
than the
That's the
U.S.
point.
is. But okay. So that even makes my point that even in atheistical societies in Europe, it's safer for you to walk down any one of those streets, but try to go to an Islamic country as a Jewish person and see how far you go.
Yeah, but I'm saying that doesn't have anything to do with Christianity. That's after Christianity. We had 1,000 years of
You
Christianity in
mentioned it.
Europe. How did it work?
You mentioned it. I mean, I
Can,
Yeah,
mentioned.
because it's a
can you
point.
hear me?
It's a point.
Can I be
Yeah, we
heard?
can hear you now.
yeah, we can hear.
But but the thing is, you're basing Islam for 1,400 years old with the last 15 years of political. That
Yeah,
is not fair.
that's a good point.
Jews and Muslims have lived together for over 1,000 years.
And
It
you could
wasn't.
probably
It
walk
wasn't.
down any street in Indonesia,
I,
the largest Muslim country.
so
Oh
so
my,
it
that's
is.
because
It is
many are
just
passive.
What?
many are what
Passive, very passive there.
passive,
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
but
you
they are
know what?
Muslim. It doesn't
Not
matter what they
walking
are.
Saudi
It is a
Arabia.
Muslim country, though.
Central Asian part, like all the Central Asian, like they used to be Soviet Union, the Muslim parts there, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, all those areas, Armenia, not Armenia, sorry, Azerbaijan. You can walk around all you want with the kippah on, and nobody will
That's
people
because
will greet you and
because of
take you home for
the
dinner. They will not
So
bother you in any way.
Yeah.
exactly. But so I think Ashtar, you're kind of hard in your judgment when it
Yeah.
comes
I
to
think you're
just
basing this on
basing
like
your
raw.
reason
No.
history
It's
and
still
condemning
because they'll
every
tell
Muslim.
you, even in India, they'll tell you don't tell people you're Jewish in Muslim areas. I'm not saying that they're definitely going to kill you, but it's a lot more dangerous
Did you do it?
amongst
I know
Islamic
you went to India.
societies
Did you do
than
it?
But
Christian
it
ones.
is is it political reason or for the religion reason? Be honest.
No. Okay, I get it. It's because of the state of Israel, but still,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
targeting Jewish people.
But it is still, it is not a religious thing. It is a political thing.
No, I
So
get
Yeah.
it.
you
You can't
But
say
they
just
it's
get
not.
over it.
they don't make a distinction between Jew and
Exactly.
Israeli. Unfortunately, they don't know the difference. I mean, they think that every
Yeah,
Jewish
it is
person.
ignorance. It is ignorance.
So
That is not
whatever.
what the.
It's still like my point still
But you
stands.
can't. I understand, but you can't blame Islam on it. It is not. Islam has nothing to do with that. It is
Okay,
political
fine.
thing.
I'll blame Muslims then.
Yeah. This is what we say. Islam is perfect. Muslims are not. So you can blame Muslims.
The same
It's
thing
okay.
in Judaism.
But you can't say it is Islam.
Okay, so overall, we can
What
say
That's
joke?
funny because
that the average Christian is a little more ethical than the average Muslim.
Usher, do you remember that joke
Come
that
again?
Judaism would be perfect if it wasn't for all the Jews?
Now that's anti-Semitic.
So why aren't you saying it?
All right, because I'm an anti-Semite.
You got it.
Yeah. Anyways, I have to repeat my statement for Ahmed that the average Christian is more ethical than the average Muslim. That means they're a little more welcoming to people who think differently, who look differently than the average Muslim is.
Which okay, that is so wrong in so many levels.
Yeah, I think you're also basing
What are you? How are you basing? Do you have
Okay.
any static?
Okay, I don't have statistics, but I'm just using common sense. If an American girl walks down the street of Iran, and Iran is not the most fundamentalist place in the world, showing her elbows, okay, and I don't know, an Asian girl walks down the street of Poland, like showing her elbows, who's most likely going to be insulted?
Who's going to be insulted if you walk down like that in any part of Indonesia? That's, you're saying one or two countries fine, but like one in every three Muslims is an Indonesian. I mean, it's the vast majority
Okay.
are not Arab.
So you're telling me that in Indonesia, right? If a woman dresses inappropriately in an Islamic area, that every Muslim will just, stay quiet.
I remember there's one like very puritanical place. I think around Java.
Have you
Yeah, sure.
been into
But most of it, no.
Guys,
Indonesia? Hold on a second. Have you been in Indonesia? Yeah, Bali. You know what that is?
Bali is a tourist town, right? I mean, people just go to the beach there.
Is that a
I'm
Muslim?
saying
Is that
overall,
a
people,
Muslim?
we should be able to make. We should be able to generalize, okay? As long as you give
Hold on a
examples.
second. Hold on a second.
Yeah, but you're generalizing
No.
off bad
You
information.
took.
I'm saying that the vast
he
majority of
didn't
Christians
generalize.
are a little more
You
tolerant.
took.
They're a little nicer.
Ashtar, be honest now. You took extreme Iran as example. Come on.
All right, Pakistan.
But
any-
that is now you can. Oh. No. The thing is, you took the extreme one. The extreme was 2005.
Okay, here, can you name?
And
an
then
Islamic-
to
No,
make.
wait.
Hold on a second.
But can
to
you name
make
an
your point
Islamic
that
nation
Islam-
that's not extreme?
Indonesia.
Indonesia is not an Islamic nation.
Yes,
It's a
it is.
majority Islamic country,
So
but the laws of Sharia don't govern.
they do in Java.
Equate that. What country
Java
did
has
you
like
take?
autonomous status.
What? Hold on a second. What Christian country did you take that was Christian?
All right, if you want a Christian country,
But what? No. In your analogy, in your comparison, what country did you choose?
I named Poland. Because it's
Poland.
It has a high rate of Christians.
Is Poland Christian?
Identify as a Jew in Poland. See what happens. I dare you.
You are this. Come on, be fair with your judges, man. You're kind of biased. Very.
All right, so South America has many Christian countries. Catholic countries.
Okay.
Are you saying that I'm wrong? That
I'm
Christians
saying-
are less tolerant and less ethical than the average Muslim?
If you're going to use the example of Poland, absolutely. Go be an identifiable Jew in Poland and tell me how that works out for you.
I'll tell
was
you.
the worst
It's
country
typically
to
not an
choose.
issue.
That was the worst country to choose.
Jews visit Poland more than
it's
almost any other
true.
country because
That
of
and Hungary.
Auschwitz.
Terrible.
All of Eastern Europe. I grew up in Ukraine. Yeah, they were
Okay,
painting
okay.
swastikas on people's doors even 10 years ago, and they still do to this day. Like I grew up in Ukraine, and I was constantly dealing with this, with being called names, with getting in fights, even as teenagers. Like this is normal there. Like you were talking about how Russian Jews are tough and fight all the time. That's because we grow up defending ourselves. That's the only way you grow up there. You either grow up as like somebody beaten down or as somebody tough. There's no other option for Eastern
Yeah,
European.
but that's a
Jews.
non sequitur because it's still
It
safer
is
for
true.
Jews there than in any Islamic country.
Okay. I have for you. Just go back 60 years ago in Europe, 60. I was 70 years ago before World War.
Oh, now you're talking about
And compare. No, hold on a second.
Okay.
And compare it to any Muslim country,
it's
in
still
any
better.
Muslim country. Which
No.
can you let me finish?
Okay, go ahead.
So go back 70 years ago, yeah, in World War II, in the beginning of the last century, yeah.
Yeah.
Could you be in the same as you could be in what's it called in a Muslim countries? Which one were more? Would you feel more peaceful to walk around the street with your kibbah?
Probably Europe.
In whole of Europe.
No.
Take any country you want.
Okay. It was policy. It's always been policy amongst Muslims that Jews and Christians have a second-class status. That wasn't the policy in Europe. That means they had to pay.
But
the
you are not
jizya.
answering my question. Sorry, but
Yeah,
that is not
so
what I'm talking
Europe.
about.
I answered your question. Europe.
I've heard plenty
Europe
about
would be the safest. Europe would be safest for the
Safer
Jews.
than any.
70.
Yes, safer than any Muslim country. Safer. Back then it was
Safer.
safer in Muslim countries. But even back
Sorry,
then, I
what
take
time
Europe.
frame you guys talking about?
What?
When are you talking about? Sorry, I missed it.
Like in the 1920s
Before
and
World War
1930s.
Before World War II.
Before World War II, there was a reason why Jews were moving into Palestine. They were escaping prosecution in Europe.
According to Ashtar, that was not the case.
Not from Jews.
My God,
They did it.
the Christians has been Christians have been killing the Jews and persecuting them for centuries, bro. Over 1,000. What are you talking about?
Wait. You're talking
You are the safest place.
predominantly Christian countries have been nicer to Jews than predominantly Muslim countries.
No.
Yes.
Only two.
Oh my God.
The only point is going to be the what's it called? The jizya, the tax, whatever it is. That's it.
What do you mean? There were
The tax-
massacres.
Did you
Huh?
see?
Yeah.
Oh. Hold on a second here. Give me a second.
I mean, like, who invented pogroms, right?
Exactly.
I mean, who invented pogroms? I mean, that's always happened.
No, but who was doing it? Like, this was a
No,
national
it's because all
sport
we
in,
know
like,
pretty much
in
is
Poland
about
and Ukraine.
European
That's
history.
literally their national sport.
No,
Exactly. You could find one. I'll give you. You could find one in Iraq and Algeria here or there, but it's not like you said a sport. It's not something you could just do because you were bored on Friday.
Jews in Europe have always been radicalized, and they've hated Christians. And this is why Jewish history is almost strictly European history. There's almost no Jewish history, anything recorded that happened in Islamic countries. It's very small, right? Because Jews in Europe hated Christians and always had to were being attacked by the church because they were atheistic and stuff like that. But it was consequential. It's not because you were a religious Jew that you were persecuted. It's because you were either a communist or you were like pushing.
The communism has only last 100 years. Come on.
Yeah, dude,
What
we're
about the last
talking about
2,000
like
years?
Not 100 years. I mean, it's over 150 years at least.
Okay, but
yeah,
we're
talking
talking
about
2,000
1,000
years.
years.
Oh no! I mean,
Do you
how
not
far
know
do
the
you want to
history
go
of
back?
Eastern Europe?
It's interesting that for you guys to try to make your point. Like first you went back 60 years. Now we're going back 1,000 years. It
No,
shows that
okay.
today it's safer for Jews in Christian countries than in Muslim countries.
Since
Obviously.
Israel. Yes, I'll give you that. Since Israel.
Right.
But before then, no. It's
Yeah,
no.
but before Israel, there was completely opposite. I mean, you said yourself that there's like no history in the Muslim countries because in the Muslim countries, they basically majority of the time they lived peacefully and quietly and never had any issues.
There were no real Muslim
There were
countries.
incidents here
There
and
was
there.
the Ottoman Empire, okay, and they basically liked Jews for being merchants. But yes, I mean, in the time of the Rambam, the Almohads, Muslims were, okay. I mean, Muslims have been persecuting Jews for a while.
You are not fair in your judgment. I'm sorry. You're very biased.
Oh, so you're disagreeing with me? Okay.
Yeah, very much.
So, let's go back to the initial statement. So you're saying that today it's safer for Jews in Muslim countries than in Christian countries.
You are correct in that judgment.
Okay, so that's it. So why do you have to take it back?
And I told you, no. I told you the reason is political. It has nothing to do with Islam.
Regardless what the reason is, that you said because Muslims are ignorant, right?
What?
You said it's because Muslims are ignorant on the topic. So they equate Jews with Israelis.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. That's it.
Anyway, well, what you said, have you read what Karl Marx and
Yes.
John Calvin wrote about the Jews?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah, we know Marx. Marx, horrible individual.
Oh, come on.
Marx is a horrible individual, and he is not a Jew. I'm kicking him out personally.
I'm sure you feel terrible about it.
John Calvin was worst. John Calvin was.
John Calvin only wrote, I mean, towards the end of his life, like when he failed to convert. What was it?
Was it called the synagogue? Satan of Synagogue? What was it called?
That's the New Testament.
No, that's from Bible.
Yeah.
That's Paul, I think. The synagogue of Satan.
Okay.
No,
it's not Calvin.
no.
No, you're thinking of Martin Luther. I mean, what did Calvin ever say about the Jews?
Calvin just said he had
Definitely not
a really bad ideology. Calvin believed that everybody had predestination, and basically, if you're born rich, that means that you're a good person, and if you're born poor, that you're a bad person.
I don't think I'm fighting. I think
Y'all are really botching
for hell or not.
Christian teachings.
I don't think Calvin said anything outrageous about Jews. I mean, just
No, I don't think he was against Jews. He had his own weird things.
He's a weird guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
but Martin
Martin
Luther.
Luther was against Jews.
He's a weird guy.
Okay,
All right.
I
Anyways,
need to
guys.
check that.
I mean,
We had a
16
quiet night today. You have
yeah.
like
Well,
15
I mean, all this
viewers.
politics stuff, it killed the.
being up here. It's not very.
No, it
Kev,
was that Israeli guy that you brought in with the conspiracy theorist guy. He killed all your crowd. Everybody
Israelis,
left.
man. I'm telling you. They're like,
About vegetarianism, dude. What was that?
with the what?
Conspiracy theories about vegetarianism. What was that?
Yeah, it was the
telling you,
vegetarian
Israelis have.
conspiracy theories.
I mean, it's called chutzpah. You know, I mean, they'll come here and quote things that are not in the Bible, and it's audacity. I mean, that's what.
Okay,
No,
hold on.
you had like 80 viewers, and then you brought that Israeli vegetarian conspiracy theories, and you went down to like 20 viewers because nobody like he killed everybody.
You did.
There we go. Well, let's make one thrust forward, guys. Like the show, like, and get these numbers up. Come on,
Don't keep
100. Put one
Okay,
hand
I'm
on the
liking.
screen and one hand on your wallet because I'm gonna bless your finances tonight.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding.
Everything that's just Alabama.
This is a prosperity.
Wait,
administration.
did you just say Alabama?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was raised in Alabama.
There's
Yeah,
something I
where?
can get rid of it.
Huntsville?
Oh, I'm in Birmingham.
No shit. I've been in Birmingham a few
Actually,
times.
well, actually, I'm in a smaller town in between Birmingham and Huntsville, so I'm not gonna give it away. But like, do you know where Gadsden is at?
Yeah, my grandmother lives in Gaston.
Yeah, I live like not far from there. Like,
No, she lives in. She moved over to Georgia a little while ago. She used to live in Gaston, whatever.
So, Matt, maybe you should introduce your future wife to Courtney. At least she'll get her to start following the Torah first, and then you can convert her.
Yeah, Courtney's not gonna make her any less feisty, unfortunately.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking
What country
about
was she
like at
from?
least make her more observant Christian. You know.
There we go.
What country was she
I'm
from?
like, yeah,
Still
So what
sounds
is her
like
religion? Like,
she's
what is her?
Anglican. I think it's like Anglican or something. It's something vague. I'm guessing Anglican because the British were in Uganda for so long, but I don't know officially.
But does she practice?
Uganda. She's Uganda.
When she first came over here, yeah, she went to church and all, but it's been a while since she was like officially involved in anything.
I see. I know, Kat. I do need to go to bed, but
Yeah, it's been 30.
but yeah. If you're ever in the area, you
Yeah.
and your wife or fiance or whatever.
Yeah, I think family all moved over to shit, what's that place in Georgia got big name? Not that one.
Nakalula Falls is a nice place to have like lunch. Yeah,
Yeah.
are you familiar?
The name sounds familiar. I'm not sure. No.
No, thanks. You're just gonna kick me off.
I invited her. I mean,
Why?
what's something about her?
What's wrong with it?
She said you kicked her off. You did. You kicked her off. You kicked Bo off.
Really? Why?
Why?
Yes. You're horrible.
So
What'd
rude.
she say?
Nothing. You were like, it's boring. Click. You know.
Really?
Oh, wow.
No, that doesn't sound like me.
That means that they were
Oh,
boring. That's what it means.
Okay, maybe that is what it means.
Yeah,
Asher
but
would never kick
people
somebody
believe
for
that
being
That's
boring
fucking-
if they weren't boring. I mean, he let that vegan conspiracy guy stay for half an hour. Come on.
Kat, what you feel about that?
All right, guys, I'm gonna go watch for in bed. So good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Kat, come up.
Yeah,
I need
cat.
another female.
Yeah.
I thought proselytizing was illegal in Judaism.
Yeah, it's not.
Just a good tradition. Not law.
I mean, it's not even called tradition. It's just like.
Minhag. It's definitely tradition. Come on.
Okay, if you translate tradition, I mean, people will misunderstand.
It's done for a long time for no good reason.
You know, because they'll think it's like minhag or masora. Like, no, it's just like
They don't know
that
it's a
idea, not to encourage people. You know, so just want to fix it.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
You
wouldn't
don't
you
think that
be
the world
more
would be a
like
better
a
place,
second class?
Nefertiti, if there were more religious Jews in the world?
Sorry?
Do you think the world would be a better place if we had more religious Jews in the world?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a supporter of Judaism because obviously I'm a Muslim and they believe in one God. So
You don't think the Christians?
I would rather more Jews than Christians. No offense, I love the Christians. Don't get me wrong, but like I prefer when people worship one God. You
Okay,
know?
hold on. Then would you
That's not
prefer
actually.
more Christians than more atheists?
No, I'd prefer more Christians.
Okay, all right. So you're
Marriage is halal, huh?
I mean, somewhat consistent. Okay, great. I mean, I clearly believe in one God. I don't believe in the Trinity, but I don't think that makes you a worse person. That could make you a little more confused, maybe. I mean, I guess from an Islamic perspective,
What
but
do
I
you mean
don't think.
idolatry? Are you polytheist? Maybe,
Oh
maybe.
my, Mateo, you've not seen that channel? Oh my
No,
God,
what is it?
you've got to go see it.
Is it crazy?
It's crazy. It makes the Muslims look horrible.
Why? What do they do?
It's disgusting.
Oh, is it like a male chauvinist place?
No, no, it's absolute. Well, I mean, yeah and no, but like you have to just go. I'm sure she can confirm. It's called Marriage is Hello.
Right.
Oh, you're throwing her under the bus now?
Oh, she's man. I've messaged. I've like commented on her stuff before she like banned the comments.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I see down in the comments.
But just go watch her latest her latest videos the last, I don't know, 24
I'm gonna write
hours.
this down.
Right. You're just sucking the life out of this show.
What
No pun
life?
intended.
What life? There's
Is
18
it
people in
that
here.
crazy girl that promotes a polygamous? I think.
Oh, does she?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
Is it that
god.
one? Yeah, she's mad. But
Oh,
I
sucking
heard
the life.
she's a comedian, so she does it for like jokes, and I hope she doesn't believe that.
No, she gives good advice on the bulk of her stuff. So
What?
for her to just say one thing that's outlandish, I mean,
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
she
it's not
believes
like
it.
one thing. It's kind of like a big thing. I mean, can't we have four? Technically?
Wait. I mean, does it offend you as a guy?
No,
What she
no,
says?
not really.
Right, you like it, right?
I wouldn't say that. I don't
If
want three
all
more
guys, I mean, if
women.
all
No.
women, thought like this, the world would be a better place.
But we can have four technically, right? I heard that. Unless you're a king, you can have a harem.
Well, according to Jewish law, a man's allowed to have up to 4 wives.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right, a king could have up to 18, and unlimited concubines.
Jesus Christ.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Now people don't practice this nowadays, but that's
I
what the
know.
law is.
Doesn't Allah say that if you're not a righteous man, only have one wife?
Oh, really?
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
that's true. If you can't be fair, then
yeah,
stick to one.
I
which
thought
is
it
smart. That's
was-
a smart man. There was a Muslim on here the other day. You could tell he loved his wife and he was smart because he was like, I'm not a righteous man.
Yeah, because his wife was listening, probably.
No, because
Yeah,
oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'm not a righteous man, also.
you would totally have four wives, wouldn't you?
Me?
Yeah, you'd have so
I'll
much fun
be
keeping
the
all four
fifth.
alive.
The fifth.
Exactly.
FIF. All right.
Courtney hangs out with sinners. Y'all making me look bad over here.
Oh, what? No, hey, no, it's not sin. It's law. It's
I
technically
know it's in the
law.
Torah. I
Who
think
are
it's a
we
concession.
go above the
Like
law?
women today have lots of options that they did not otherwise
Well,
have in the
Asher
past.
hates that fact.
Yes, I think he does.
What? Say it again? Oh, that women have more options nowadays. You think so? I mean, the 80-20 rule is still in effect. Yeah, so more options with the same 20% of guys. So yeah, good
What?
luck.
You don't believe that, do you?
I think it's factual. I mean, why would Jordan Peterson lie? Oh, well, you're a leftist, so I mean,
Yeah, no, that was the worst thing to say.
Um, Yeah, I do think that women have more options. I mean, okay, think about it this way.
Oh,
I mean,
or
I
you
don't
mean
disagree.
government-backed options?
80, 30, 80.
Without government back, I could sell pictures of my feet if I morally was okay with it
Oh, that's
and
the
make
least you could
more.
do.
What?
That's the least you could do.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I won't even do that, but I'm just saying, like,
Oh, you know.
women don't need men anymore to provide. Not all women,
No,
but like,
exactly, and that's why
especially
Asher
my.
hates it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, no, I don't believe
No,
in all
they
this.
make to believe that they have more options, but in reality, more options. It's just some hatred because
What?
feminists are.
Self-hatred?
No, no, no.
Oh, I
Hold
don't
on a second. Let me.
do
I
it.
didn't say Asian. It is feminism is a devil's tool.
Yes, what's up?
Nothing
Thank
good
you very
about
much.
it.
I
It
didn't
just
say
makes
anything about
makes
feminism.
women angry.
Oh, you
No, no,
basically.
no, no. I don't. I know what you mean. It is that woman has more option. They don't need a man. They can take care of boss lady.
That's
That's
literally not what I
atheist
said.
agenda. I'm not. I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did. I'm just addressing.
I had to come up with a husband.
So in the past, women had to kind of be okay with polygamy. I can tell you now that women are just not instinctually, naturally okay with polygamy.
Really?
I poll the comment section. Ask the women, like, if you had your choice, would you participate in? No, Cat, answer this before you go. Would you participate in polygamy if, like, it was not because you needed a place to live or you needed your needs met? Like, it was none of that. They're going to tell you no. They're just
I
going to tell
actually
you
would
no.
do it for money, but I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I definitely would do it for money.
Yeah, but you're
For money? Yeah, that's
gaining
a different
sister
story.
wives. I mean, like sisters.
That's not how it
Yeah,
works.
but you could all like
Yeah,
watch
if he was
together
like
and
a
sing and all that stuff.
multi-millionaire, I'd probably, but
I
not for the
would do
long
that.
run.
I guess it depends on the guy,
For
right? I mean, if the guy's worth it, then he's worth sharing. No? I mean, I don't
Money,
know.
I
I'm
would
just
be
throwing it
one of
out
four
there.
men easy.
What?
For money, I would be one of four men easy.
What? No way.
Come on, you
What?
want to do that? Come on, man. You want to do that? Have
What?
I'm not
everything
gonna.
What did he say?
sorted for
I
you?
don't play well with other guys.
Yeah, what do you think us women play well with other women? Have you ever seen
He
a
Uh,
likes
cat
to think
fight?
so, yeah.
I
He's
mean, have
seen
you
some of
seen a
the
gay couple
videos.
fight? I mean, it's brutal. No, it's true. I mean, watch Cops, like from the '80s. You know, when like two lovers go at it, forget about it.
Spoof.
All right,
I
guys.
definitely wouldn't have a second husband either. Oh my God, no.
This show is a train wreck.
It was. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Well. All right, guys.
No,
Thank you
I
for
wish
stopping by.
second husband was allowed.
okay, bye bye.
A second
Why?
husband?
What would
What?
you do? Wait,
I
wait.
told you. I told you, second husband.
Why would you?
Yeah,
Why?
I would definitely have two husbands
Why?
Why?
Yeah. Why?
because I just think you get bored. So instead of cheating, why not do it there? When
Oh
you get
no,
bored with one, you just,
That's
humans get
exactly
bored
Asher's
naturally.
thought.
Okay.
Yes.
The fun honeymoons that wears off. It wears off. So even if you went from one to the other to the other to the one to the, you would get bored. You'd get used to both of them and say, "Yep, I need a new exciting adventure." And it creates this craving for things
Third.
that should ultimately be, tamed, right? It creates this desire, like, okay, one and two didn't work. Now I need a third. Well, I feel great with the third for a few years, but now I need a fourth. And then before you know it, it's just an unhealthy sexual desire.
Well, you don't have to learn to tipper yourself.
Right, right.
Mm,
And all
that's the
people can
point.
have that, literally. And I know women that could have that as well, but
Sure.
for women, it's more of a money thing, right? And I think that was the appeal back in the biblical days, is women also didn't have
Yeah.
the ability work in the same way that men did. I mean, they would glean in the fields. I mean, you see this with Ruth and things like that. So, right, if you've seen a
I thought they were
strapping
Christian.
man that was physically capable of taking care of you and would probably produce a good offspring, why wouldn't you be fine with polygamy if you knew that you would eat and your child would eat? Fine. But in the
Right.
modern world, there's no appeal for it, especially for a high value woman.
Ooh, a high value woman. Okay. So the
What does
80-20
that
rule,
even
the way
mean?
this works
I don't.
is that most women are not attracted to 80% of the males out there. Okay. Most women are fighting for 20% of high value men. So in many cases, a woman rather share a high value man than be stuck with a guy she's not attracted with in the vast majority of cases. So I mean, I wish it wasn't like that, but because of Instagram and it's all been globalized, like maybe in the old days, these women would be forced to date those 80 those.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna
I
do?
just can't see that. I just can't see that.
You
I've
can't
seen
see
some
what?
really, I've seen some really ugly men with some
Yeah,
nice.
I would rather share a rich, handsome one
That's
than
what's up. You see?
be
I
stuck with
mean,
a.
Yeah.
you're 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 a
Perfect.
healthy woman.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, because see, women have more to give up. And I know this is like show is taking a turn, but polygamy is in the Bible. So, like, women have more to give up. Women, when we have children, we give up our body, we give up our kind of autonomy for a moment. There's a lot that women give up to continue on a man's lineage. And so, of course, you're going to want to pick someone, I think, that is what you would consider strapping, someone that you would consider
Okay,
okay.
I'm not disputing that, but the 80-20 is seems so out of whack.
Why? Why do you think so?
No, because he
It,
belongs to the 80. He
yeah,
is a Democrat.
but I found one, so I'm fine. I don't care.
Soup.
No, the numbers seem so wrong. You see so many people getting together with people you would consider maybe not on their level. That happens all the time.
Yeah, but how many are these are genuine, long-lasting relationships versus hookups?
No, I'm talking like getting married. I've seen some ugly dudes.
I think men have it easier now than before.
Hmm.
I
I
think
don't
so
know.
too.
Because now, like, you see women that, or girls are going out a date, 50-50 everything. They don't really invest anything these days.
Oh yeah, for sure. Women have given away the milk. Why would he buy the cow?
Definitely. I think women need to go back to judging men based on their wallets.
That's true. No, I
You
believe
don't
the
think the
gold
man?
digger is the happier woman. I mean, I have a whole video on
Oh,
this channel.
definitely.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't
conversation
even
with
think it's fair to call them a gold digger. Like, what's wrong with wanting someone who can provide for you and your family? Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, men are also shallow. I mean, we judge women on how they look. You should judge us on how we're able to take care of their future children. I mean, it just makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh, Ashtar, thank you for having me.
That's it. I mean, he's
Yeah, you're
pulling out. He's
welcome.
like, I can't hang. Hey, look, it's 80-20 also. Like 80% of the guys are leaving me, which is
Oh, yeah.
20% of the male species on the show.
All
All right, just putting it out there. 80-20. So
I
where are you
mean, why do you
located?
think?
Yeah, good.
Oh, I was just going to say, why do you think that people in the Bible got more than one wife? I mean, why do you think the reason is?
So
I
it
mean,
didn't
I
happen
know and that
in
makes
too many
sense,
instances,
but
by the way.
What, Mateo?
I mean, yeah, I understand it. It makes sense. I'm just saying today that the evaluation isn't that crazy.
No, really. So why do you think though? Think about it. Like, okay, modern example of this when all the men went to war, the women were forced to go to work because
Right.
all the men were unalived, like they were no longer in existence, and so there was a ton of women that were now having to go into the workforce, and they didn't, know what they were doing. They were now trying to raise kids and work. And so, I mean, theoretically speaking, the men that maybe return from war, yeah, there
Right.
probably would be a lot more women than men. I mean,
I think there was for a moment, but I don't think the gender difference is that high now.
yeah, I mean, I don't know about now, but it just like other than security for a woman, like I don't know what the appeal would be with
You
Jacob
today?
No,
having.
I'll tell you.
Today or back then?
All right, so nowadays, where you have single women in their 40s and 50s populating these singles bars, going home with whoever will take them home instead of being the wife of a guy who has two other wives and, i.e. being spoken for. And for some reason, people
What?
consider this progress.
Yeah, that's a bit. No.
Yeah. What
I
are you
mean,
talking about?
personally, I would rather be single than with a guy who has two other wives.
I mean, if
I
you
don't
really
know,
like the
but
guy, I mean, like a high value guy who's going to take care of your
That's so
kids.
high value. This is such a terrible phrase.
I mean, I've been in a three-way relationship. I would never do it again, and I definitely would never marry someone who has another wife.
Wait. So what's a three-way relationship?
Like I've been with like in a throuple relationship, so it was me, another girl, and a guy.
Ah,
It's
I
not that.
mean, so was this for religious reasons?
No.
No, he
No.
was Jewish, but it was not like at all. It was just like us dating for fun,
2020.
basically.
Has
Ah,
anyone ever told you that you sound like Kat Von D?
No.
Oh my, you sort of, based on your picture, you sort of look like her too. She's beautiful, by the way. But
Thank you.
but you sound just like her. Look her up.
I will. I'll look her
who's
up.
Kat Bundy? Who's that?
Kat Von D. She's a makeup artist, tattoo artist.
Ah,
I think it's spelled Kat Von D. I've got some of her makeup. Like, she's stunning. She's beautiful.
okay. All right.
Yeah, but she, like, when I first heard her, I was like, oh my God, is that her? But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to derail that, but I needed to tell her.
I looked her up. She has dark hair and like red lipstick like me too, so that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
like,
should listen to her speak. You would see, like, exactly what I mean.
Oh, I'll listen after. But yeah, basically I've been in like a relationship like that, and first of all, guys might think it's fun until they're actually in that situation where you have two girls ganging up against you. Not so fun. And also, it's just like there's a lot of jealousy that happens. Like, unless you're the type of person that can 100% like not care about seeing your partner with someone else or like whatever, you have to really be unattached to that part of the relationship, which I know there are people like that because I know there are successful
Yeah,
like
I'm
three-way
like that.
relationships, but it's very rare.
Girl said, as long as you got money, I don't care.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, for me, I've dated a guy who had a wife. Obviously she didn't know, but he did tell her that he wanted a second wife. So he had lots of money, so I just dated him for about a year and a half. So for me, it was like, oh, it's Tuesday. Why are you here with me? Why aren't you with your wife, you know? And
But I guess
he didn't
that's
like
because
that.
you're
He
the
wanted me to be
second.
like obsessive with him, like,
But you were
oh
the
no,
second
it's
girl.
my
It's
night
different
tonight.
than
But
being the wife,
That's
you
what
know?
I'm gonna do.
yeah,
Yeah, like
Because
I
and
know
the
a lot
I
same
of
think
thing
when he found out,
happened.
I just wanted the money. I think his ego got bruised, so we had to split up.
That'd be great.
But also, that's different being the new one versus being the wife, that he feels like he needs another girlfriend and you're not really. It ends up making you feel like you're never enough no matter what you do, even if you are completely enough and deserving of someone for yourself. Like, no one should feel like they have to be a second option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. If you want love and all that, don't do it.
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of people have different definitions of love because that really affects the way that you view things like this. Because if you're not in it for love, then of course I think just about anybody could do something like that. But
Yeah.
if you're genuinely trying to find love and you like find someone that you love, I know people that would rather not be with the rich man, but be with the poorer man because they live, laugh, and love together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I very much agree with that because I've also been in like three-way, like just like threesomes or whatever with people that I didn't care about, and it was fun because I had no feelings towards them. So it depends on like if you actually love someone, you don't want to see them with someone else. Like it's just
Yeah.
like if you really love them in that way, I just can't imagine it. But if you're just having fun or you're in it for money or like whatever it is, then yeah, because you don't really love that person.
Yeah. Yeah. The feelings are detached. It's
Yeah.
compartmentalized.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, if this hasn't got my views up, then there's something wrong with it.
There's
Because
there
this
is
is
something.
I didn't think
this
I'd
is
be
like the
talking about
steamiest talk
this,
on any religious channel.
Rabbi Asher, but
No, my glasses are steaming. You know, it's like I'm like, all right, fine.
Well, there is a thing of attachment too. There's healthy attachment that people have, and then they typically find other people that have healthy attachment. And then there's, people that have avoidance style where they don't really trust anybody. And there's so many dysfunctional behaviors that we do when we're avoiding trusting someone in a true love relationship. We can't do it. And then there's people that are avoidant and anxious in love relationships. So it's not like everybody's healthy. And then there's different personalities. So if you're with someone, say you're an introvert and the other person's an extrovert, you're not going to understand why they need to go out and be with people. And the extrovert's not going to understand why you need to be inside, or you like being alone. So there's a lot of differences. It's not just simply you you can love someone but not be a good match. And then there's narcissism, like they're toxic relationships. There's a lot of layers to this. I would imagine that thousands of years ago, people were very narcissistic, uneducated, kind of, you know, almost like animals, very much about emotional, in the moment stuff. They didn't really understand a lot of things. And
Well, I think old relationships were kind of practical. Like the man
yes,
needed to hunt. Think about it
yeah,
this way. Like the man
yeah,
needed to hunt, the wife needed to bear children. The more children that you bared, the girls were inside, the boys went outside. Like I have three children. My husband, when he gets out on the dozer, like we have equipment, and so when they like the boys get out there with him, and as soon I also think this is why kids were potty trained sooner, in the quote old days, because kids, the mom wanted to get him out of diapers and get him outside, and so there was just more practical lifestyle to it
yeah,
when you didn't have power and running water.
yeah,
But that doesn't mean that people didn't love each other, right? I think that and for sure, I mean, there's a woman that posts about like women in history. I forget the woman's name, but she was like a botanist, and she was known for, I think she poisoned 6,000 men or something like that.
hey,
The women would come to her to get out of like bad
I love that
relationships.
story.
You know what I'm
She's the
talking about?
best. Yeah, she was like the biggest serial killer
wow,
because she would have women who were basically because in those days if you would tell anyone that your husband is beating you or anything like that, you would be called a witch and you would be hung. So there
Yeah.
was no like outlet for women to
wow,
go if they were in abusive situations. So this woman made a perfume shop where she would sell poison, so that women would go to her if they were in some sort of relationship that was really bad, and then she would give them basically a way to like unalive their husbands. And she got away with it for a really long time until one woman was about to, she like put in her husband's soup and
Yeah.
he was about to drink it and she was like, no, don't, because she felt too guilty. And he was like, why
yeah,
not? And then they tortured her, got the information of who it was, unalived her, unalived a lot of other women involved, and yeah. But she
Yeah,
wow,
did.
it was crazy because it's like that's honestly, like my okay, my mother was beat once by a man, and she used a form of poisoning to get him to where he was occupied for a specific period of time, so that she could get away. But it was eye drops in his food, in his water, and it
nice.
it put him on the toilet and he couldn't go anywhere. And so
Oh my
anyway, yeah,
God.
like I mean that's what women do. I mean women
I
are
mean,
pretty
yeah, there
smart.
isn't there that story of, I forget her name, but I think it's in the Bible where she like got the king really drunk and
Judith.
then yeah,
Yeah.
like that story, like it would
Yeah.
happen. They would use their innocence a lot to get away with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, she stuck
Yeah.
like a tent peg like through his head when he was drunk, right?
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
Yael? Was
Jael.
it
Yeah.
Yael or
Jael.
Judith?
No,
Oh,
Jael.
Yeah, people were narcissistic, toxic, dangerous. They were like animals. They were uneducated.
Do you think though? I mean, think
I
about how many
do. I do.
domestic violence calls there are today. I mean, are we
Yeah.
really any different?
Yeah.
You think we are?
I
I
think
don't think we
we're
changed. I
much
think if we
less
took these laws,
narcissistic
we would
over
be just as
time.
bad.
I do too. Friday, I think so too.
I think
I
we were.
think the only thing that keeps me a good person is religion and rules, right? I think that,
and consequences.
yeah, like,
No.
Not me, honestly. When I used to be religious, I was so much worse. I think
Me too.
I would do a lot of things.
Well, I'm Jewish, so it's better.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up Chabad, like, you know, really religious, and I would just like do things that I wasn't supposed to. And now I think I have better morals and I'm not practicing at all.
yeah, no, I mean, I get that, but I kind of see that like as like the majority of the Jewish Jewish world is. I think, I mean, Christians are like that too, but like for the really observant Christians, it's a different story. But yeah, like for me,
No, I disagree. As a former Christian, I totally disagree.
what do you mean?
Christians do this thing called backsliding
Oh yeah,
every
for
so often,
sure. Oh
and
yeah.
they go through a cycle of being really devout, getting really bored, getting into trouble, like going out and doing all the things they've been repressing, and then getting in trouble, and then coming back all devout again, and then they keep cycling through that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I was saying. When I said, except for like the really religious ones, like the ones that dress super modest, the ones that,
Right.
yeah.
Because the regular,
Um,
Catholic Orthodox, they're fine. They're normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was always, I guess I was always raised religious, but I wasn't always like Torah observant. So I didn't need the law
Let's
to.
not do hearts for rabbis so that we can get some people in here. Or let's say
No,
something.
I mean, I'm keeping you guys up too late. I'm like, in 5 minutes, we're going to start on.
No. This is good.
This is good girl talk, you know?
Yes, we finally have
All right, go continue,
finally have a
continue. Go ahead.
voice.
Go ahead.
But
You're
no,
past
like
the Apple Teens, you know, and your Sex in the City, whatever. Go for it.
I didn't need like the Torah to tell me not to do specific things, but obviously, I think I've become a better person now that I have, the understanding of keeping the Torah. But yeah, I think it's just human desires, like innate desires that humans have that you have to just pin down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's a journey.
For sure.
Yeah. But I think coming from a Jewish
But do
understanding.
you guys think the Abrahamic religions are more like misogynistic? Because I'm a Muslim woman, but like I always see like Islam as more like how do I say this? Like it favors men. So I kind of like, for me, I kind of reacted. So I took off my hijab. I stopped practicing, and even though I want to go back and practice, but I feel like it's a man's religion. I don't know if you guys feel
I
the
would
same way.
say, yeah. So modern day Judaism, I wouldn't say that. It's very favorable to women.
I agree.
Kind of.
Ancient, not so much. And I guess it would really depend on. So you have more women that convert to Judaism than you do men. There's just a whole lot less things for women to have to do than men. But I think overall
No.
it's more favorable.
I
to
don't
women.
think so. I mean, I think there's more things that women have to do. I mean, in terms of like a married woman, like, they have to do something called badika. They got to check themselves. Just something a man, like, that's horrible. You know, a man just has to daven 3 times a day. Like, a woman also has to pray. Like maybe she doesn't have to. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure it's easier for
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's particularly favoring women either. Like it could if you choose to spin it in that way for your family, but it really depends on how you take it and what you do with it because like there still is laws of, tznius or like, modesty and all that that could be forced on someone or it could
Oh
just be
yeah.
like, oh, this is kind of what we like to do. It just depends on which sect of Judaism you're in.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
would
she
say
was saying
more.
she wore a hijab, so I mean, I would think that she wouldn't have any problem with some of the modesty standards within like Orthodox.
Well, she stopped wearing the hijab because she did have an issue with the like
Well,
modesty
the
laws.
no, I don't think that was it. I think she said she had an issue with like just the religion being more favorable to men. I don't. Is that what? Did I hear you wrong?
Yeah, I mean, even the hijab, when I asked why, um, it was like, oh, because you have to cover from men, and I'm like, but why? There was no answer. So I'm like, so I'm wearing this for the sake of men, because all my life I thought I was wearing it for God, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
it's
see,
kind of the same thing with Judaism. Like they
yeah,
might spin it in different directions. Like usually when you're little, they're not going to tell you like, "Oh, this is because of men," but they'll say like, "Oh, because you're a queen in the like,
Right, you're
you're a
pure, you're
princess."
this, you
And
represent
yeah, and
Islam.
you want to cover yourself because you're so special and so holy. But then when you get older, it's like, wait, if I'm like a princess, I should be able to dress however I want. Why do I have to do this? And then it's like, oh, really? Because men will have these thoughts.
it's so funny
So
because Christianity is the actual opposite. Like now, don't get me wrong, the whole Christian movement, like when they say like modesty is the hottest or modest, whatever it
Modest is
is.
the hottest. That's what it
Yeah,
says.
modest. Yeah, and so that literally, like, there were so many people that came out and said that defeats the purpose because you're not being modest for people, you're being modest for God. And so the difference, I think, in modesty standards within Christianity is there's a lot of women that actually want to do it and they don't feel oppressed by it, whereas a lot of women in Islam and Judaism feel more oppressed by it.
I think it's because how specific the laws are. Like, if it
Right.
was, oh, just be modest, that can mean a lot of things. But to say, oh, you have to cover your elbows, knees, and collarbone, or like in the hijab sense, like your whole body and everything, like it's the standards are way higher than what normal people would even call modesty. Because I think I still dress modest, but I definitely don't go by tznius laws at all. But I still do dress relatively modest.
Right. Yeah.
I think in any version of extreme or evangelical circles, it doesn't matter whether it's Christian or Jewish or ultra orthodox versions or there's always the extreme versions that do demand a lot of modesty. Even the evangelicals, wearing a dress, a lot of rules. Mormons, I'm sure they don't like being in their religion either for the women.
Yeah. I think it always gets to a point where it feels more controlled than
Mhm.
anything else.
Well, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's healthy, there's other people that in Islam where the men are very loving, and there's all kinds of people in every group. I'm sure there's, Muslim groups that are more tolerant and
Yeah, I think it's
reasonable.
where you
Yeah,
are in the world that
yeah,
I think
matters.
the ones in the West are more tolerant,
Yeah.
more
yeah,
open-minded.
yeah,
But even them, when you go to a Muslim country, they basically it's like a 360. They become someone else.
yeah,
So I don't know if that's influence or if they were acting all along.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
because I
know?
was just hearing like some Muslims in a live this morning all talking about a hijab and how like someone had in the back that if you don't wear one, you don't deserve to get married or something. And then it was basically all the men agreeing and then some women coming up and saying like basically how can you say that if there's people who want to marry someone who doesn't wear one, then who are you to judge basically? But
Yeah.
it was like crazy to see how all the guys really agreed and thought that if a woman doesn't cover herself entirely, then she's not worthy of having a man.
What's
Exactly.
interesting?
Not only that, but like the double standards where,
Yeah.
the guy can go clubbing, can have a girlfriend, but if I was to be seen with a guy, it's like 21 questions,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a double standards.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I felt even in the Jewish world when I was growing up, because I was like, how come all these guys are already sleeping around and they're all just dressed a certain way in public, so no one realizes that they're like doing all this stuff and they still look like, or they're like becoming a rabbi or whatever, but they're still talking to girls and whatever. But then if a girl talks to a guy, her whole reputation is ruined. Like, she's
I didn't really see that with reform. I think they're so like mild Jewish that I don't.
They're so mild Jewish.
Yeah, reform is its own
No,
thing, because when
their
I say all
beliefs are
this,
the
I'm
same.
not talking about reform.
No, but I mean, they do the same rituals. They do, we studied Hebrew to be able to read the Bible. We do the same. I mean, everything's the same in many, we're not separated during the services though. I mean, so I would say most people covered up their elbows and their, you know what I mean, and their décolletage and in the same ways. And most of them that I talked to were, well, maybe not most, but many of them were kosher, and yeah, they just didn't ascribe to like being completely closed off to ideas. It was liberal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
What's wrong
Let's
with
end
them?
on a high note. Everyone's getting along. It should be like this, guys. Like follow each other, because
Yeah.
you guys get it. You guys could have like a Jewish version of The View on TikTok or something. Well, there's a Muslim here, but whatever. It'll be interesting.
Yes. Oh,
She
that
could
would
be
be
Whoopi Goldberg.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah,
All
I
right.
think.
Yeah. Follow the host. Yeah. Follow us.
Good
Be
night.
well.
Yeah.
Good
Have a good
night.
Shabbos, people. Be well.
Thank you,
Shabbat
Rabbi.
All
shalom.
right,
Bye.
good night.
Bye. Good